In a world drowned in lies, where corruption and evil reign, this summer, the fight for truth continues. The Red Pill Project, Alpha Warrior, Defcon Zerq.
Another head hangs slowly, child is slowly taken. The violence causes silence. Who are we is taken? Tanks and their bombs and their guns and their guns. Your head, they're crying. Your head. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
About replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment with a new government controlled by you, the American people. There is nothing the political establishment will not do.
Defcon Zerq.
Starts now.
All right.
How you doing, brother?
Dude, we're on Rumble Vision again. Rumble
Really?
must like us. We're on the front page of Rumble again.
No
They
kidding.
love us. Thank you, Rumble. I appreciate that.
Mad,
You guys are-
mad shout out to Rumble there for
We're
doing
the
that.
most popular show on Tuesday nights, Alpha. On all of Rumble World.
I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm not gonna. You know it's because we got the best audience, bro.
Well, we can start with this what if bombshell.
Well, before we get in there,
Oh,
let's give everybody a chance to say hi.
sure.
Let's let that odometer spin a little bit, and while we do that, let me take care of. Let me pay the bills for us over here at Badlands, and let's get to these
pay those
amazing
bills.
sponsors out and up front. You guys know, as a matter of fact, here they are, Pet Club.
Oh, awesome.
You know, I take these things religiously. It's not supplements, it's food. This is my mushroom food. So let's take a listen to what they got to say.
Science proves that a healthy immune system is the body's first defense against the smallest of ailments to the most catastrophic. Coriolus versicolor is the most sought-after, all-natural supplement for both humans and pets to help boost the immune system. There are over 400 studies worldwide on its effectiveness in humans, including Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, MD Anderson Cancer Center, and now from the University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine. Together, we can help reverse this terrible tide now plaguing your loved ones and give them the immune-boosting supplements that they need.
When your favorite Badlands show wraps up without a raid, visit the Badlands website to explore our incredible sponsors. From products featured on the show to kickstarting your shopping list, the Badlands shop has you covered. Every purchase you make is a powerful vote for the future you believe in. We make it easy to shop America first, supporting Badlands creators and patriot small businesses that champion freedom. You're not just buying a product, you're fueling a movement with every dollar spent. Thank you for supporting businesses that support Badlands Media. Head over to badlandsmedia.tv and click shop from the menu, or go directly to badlandsmedia.tv and hit shop. Again, this is your dollars telling the world what you feel is important, creating an economy that supports Rumble, supports Badlands, and supports the content that you love to see. Now, with that, brother, one more time, it is... We are on the precipice, bro.
It's happening, man. You know, like, listen. I've been talking about this time for the last 5 years. Anybody who's followed me over the Red Pill Project and been listening to me since November of 2020, this is what we have been talking about. This whole stages set chessboard scenario that we are watching play out right now. And, you know, I thought, like, when it actually happened, I'd be like, oh my God, you know, going down to my basement and checking my prepping supplies, loading my guns, putting my stuff on like Rambo. Instead, I'm sitting here in front of a camera going, oh my God, it's actually happening. So it's pretty crazy, guys, of what's unfolding right now in the world, geopolitically, what's happening domestically. Obviously, we had a lot of various different domestic terrorist attacks over the last few days. Bomb threats today at 10 different universities, with an actual bomb at the University of Utah that was exploded by bomb squad right before, hours before a TPUSA event. And then today was interesting. We were talking about this, right? The all general officers meeting. So generals and admirals from all around the world, including their senior executive staff, were called in for a meeting. And the meeting, if you watched, was just like, you got to keep your guys in shape and hoorah, we're the best military in the world. Pat yourself on the back is what it sounded like. But there was 3 key points. Dan Kane, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Pete Hegseth, and Donald Trump all spoke there. And they all said the exact same thing in a different way. But they said the same words. Prepare for war. Prepare for, all 3 of them said prepare for war. Now, I've been racking my head trying to figure out, why would you risk a Tier 1 level event, right? So this is like continuity of government style of event when you have all these general officers, command and control scenarios coming into Quantico, Virginia. You have the president there, Secretary of Defense, chairman, all the Joint Chiefs. Why would you do that? So I was thinking, like, maybe this is a continuity of government training, which they did today. But then I realized something just a little while ago. And I said, oh my God. You know, Donald Trump literally told us what was going on. I'm going to pull up I think you got the video right there. But it's the threat from within.
Well, these are 3 separate ones. I don't, these
Okay.
aren't yeah, so there you go.
Listen to what Trump says here.
Together with many of you in the room, we've brought back the fundamental principle that defending the homeland is the military's first and most important priority. That's what it is. Only in recent decades did politicians somehow come to believe that our job is to police the far reaches of Kenya and Somalia, while America is under invasion from within. We're under invasion from within.
We're under invasion from within. Now, we know the deep state is very, very real. We know that all of this is happening. But see, there's a certain coordination. This wasn't a planned event, bringing all the general officers to Quantico. And Alpha, you know, I've been saying, dude, maybe Quantico because of this. couldn't wrap my head around it. I figured it out. I think I figured it out. So you got to look at the time frames, right? So last week on September 23rd is when the big UN meeting occurred. Donald Trump spoke at the United Nations. But Secret Service, in cooperation of a joint interagency task force, dismantled a network of electronic devices located throughout the New York tri-state area. Okay? Now, these were being used for disabling cell phone towers, launching DDoS attacks. But the most interesting part they were used for is facilitating anonymous encrypted communications between threat actors and criminal enterprises. Now, the DHS and FBI representative who gave the briefing on this, and Game Tech has it on his page, he says these were foreign actors, foreign nations involved, and actors at home we know of, we're aware of. That was really interesting. I couldn't stop thinking about him saying that they know who the people are that they were communicating with. And I said, well, what if they were people in our government or our military? So that was September 23rd. On September 25th, 2 days later, Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, called an all general officers and senior executive staff meeting at Quantico, Virginia. Quantico is the location of the Marine Corps Intelligence Activity, MCIA. This provides strategic and tactical intelligence, including SIGINT support worldwide. It is a satellite facility lined directly to Fort Meade National Security Agency headquarters. What if there was suspicion that certain general officers were compromised, or that the data or metadata on the Secret Service busted cell phone encrypted communication lines were connected to high-ranking military officers, or maybe classified intelligence was found on them? How would you find the source? You would call an all general officers meeting, an all-call meeting to a centralized location. Once inside, you would turn on your data capture systems and collect all the metadata and make a connection to the encrypted servers. Now, someone asked me, they said, well, what if they just left their phones at home and they didn't bring that phone? I said, oh, no. You got to understand that NSA can capture what's known as proximity pings. Your phone right now is pinging every single phone that's in and around you. So if you have 2 or 3 phones and you're keeping that at your home or your office, your phone is continuously pinging them even when it's turned off, and it stores that data directly inside. So the NSA can actually capture that data and then cross-coordinate that. So if there's metadata on that encrypted server and they broke the encryption level and they could tell what that phone was and the phone identity, they could capture that proximity ping off of one of those generals' phones, and boom, they got them. I think that's what this was about.
You made me remember a movie scene, and I want to bring this up because I almost feel
Enemy of the State.
No. Let me bring, where the heck? Oh, I gotta share it for you guys to see it. I got so many stuff in this room right now. Let's see. It's 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I don't know if we got to play the whole thing, but here, let me bring it up so you guys can see. Do you remember this movie?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember this scene?
Nope. Go ahead and play.
So to put these into context, this is the end of the movie, or towards the end of the movie, and they're trying to figure out, or I would say confirm, who was the traitor. So here we go.
Goddamn traitor, sir. You dim little shit. I hired you out of pity, and this is how you repay me. But you know, tomorrow, when people find out that your precious president helped a maniac open the nuclear football, who do you think they're going to believe? You or me? Well, let's see. Now, you would be a nobody. But me, I'm the president of the United States.
No, you're not. Eli. Quite the politician, huh?
You did all of this just to keep your buddies in the defense industry happy.
How far did you fall into the pockets?
This is ridiculous.
Take him into custody, General.
Yes, sir, Mr. President.
No, you can't do. No, I'm still president. I am still president.
We'll just consider this a coup d'etat. Get this trash off my lawn.
You know, you're not fit for office. You son of a bitch. You're selling this country out to the Arabs. This isn't over. I got friends.
And I'll make sure all of your friends meet you in prison.
Let's get him to the hospital. You okay? You look terrible. Thank you for everything you did today.
Thank you for trusting me. Special Agent Kale, I'm not going anywhere without my protection.
You heard him.
Damn Secret Service.
That's freaking Secret Service, bro.
Thank you, sir. Hey, Em! You want to take a ride?
I think we might have missed
Come on!
that scene, or it should be.
Can I go? Yeah, of course. Go with your father.
If not, I'll just explain it.
Oh, okay.
She's an amazing girl.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, this is already too far. So that means we just missed the scene, but the part where the guy is pissed off, what happens is they call the number or they activate a pager number that was doing this behind the stuff scenes on an encrypted phone. And when it goes off, he was like, you thought you had got away with it. And so when I was listening to you kind of talk about all this stuff and you bring all these people in, well, if there were certain numbers that you're curious and you hit those and you had the software there to capture all that, you would know exactly who was communicating with who. I feel like the Hollywood explanation of what you were telling us.
Well, and I think, I mean, listen, guys, today is not a coincidence. It's September 30th, the day before October 1st, Red October. We have some deltas to go over for that, and I think that this all is significant. Right now on the White House website, there is a direct countdown, a countdown. Alpha, it's the final countdown. Okay, guys?
Real quick, because the audience is going crazy. It's called White House Down. That's
right.
That movie, White House Down.
So this is the final countdown. And I think that this is truly significant because when we start to look at where we are right now with everything that's going on around the world geopolitically, dude, the stage is absolutely 100% set. I mean, we have U.S. Navy fleet down in Venezuela, and I explained why. Number one, that the mission down there is not the war on drugs. So if anybody doesn't know this, that's where I was deployed to 3 times in the United States Navy, did counter narcotics and human trafficking and interdiction down there. And let me tell you that Southcom AOR isn't the Caribbean. Southcom AOR is a quarter of the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Peru and Ecuador and Colombia and off of Mexico. It's a massive area. Now, the question is if we have 8 U.S. Navy vessels off the coast of Venezuela, why are they not in the Pacific Ocean? Because all Venezuela has to do is transfer those narcotics over to Colombia, over to Ecuador, over to Peru, put them on fishing vessels and shun them up to Mexico through the Pacific Ocean because there's no U.S. Navy assets over there. So why is it, and we're going to talk about why they're right there specifically, and it has a lot to do with what Trump said today.
So speaking of what Trump said, John sent me a message right now, and he says, in case this is relevant to your show, and I haven't listened to it, so me and you will hear this together for the first time, but this is also from Trump's talking today, so I want to bring this on, and if it's great and spectacular, we'll give John a bunch of kudos. If we have no idea why he's sending it to us, then we'll make fun of him. It's about 26 seconds, so let's take a listen.
We're under invasion from within. No different than a foreign enemy, but more difficult in many ways because they don't wear uniforms.
Don't
verbatim.
forget this persecution is being done by the same weaponized agencies that for 7 years have been running illegal psychological warfare campaigns against the American people, much as if they were trying to destabilize a foreign country.
We're under invasion.
There you go.
What did that second one say? It was all garbled.
Here, let me play it for you one more time. See if you can try to capture it.
Don't forget this persecution is being done by the same weaponized agencies that for
Don't forget that this persecution is being done by the same
weaponized
agencies.
7 years have been running illegal psychological warfare campaigns against the American people, much as if they were trying to destabilize a foreign country.
We're under.
Yep.
There you go. Spectacular catch over there, boss man. Clean up the audio next time, please. We're trying to run a professional program over here.
Well, so this is where it's going to get interesting, people. So I'm looking for a post that I did earlier, and it's going to make a lot of sense here when we start to get in. Oh, actually, no, I got them right here. Okay. So is this the post? Nope, that's not the post. So where is the post? I got one post already ready. There's another one that I had, but for some reason I lost it.
And just so you know, before we move away from the talk with the DOD today, I have 3 clips. The longest is like 20 seconds.
Mine's a clip from that too. So, but go ahead if you want to play the 17 one.
All right, let me throw this on there. And I'm very curious to your thoughts on this.
As an example, in 4 years, Biden didn't have 1 trillion. We have 17 trillion more than that in 8 months coming in.
So did you hear his comments afterwards?
I did.
Because he did a press conference after and he said verbatim the same thing again.
Very interesting number.
When he was signing executive orders.
Yes, he did. It was a much longer one too.
There it is. Okay, I thought.
This next one that I want to play, there's 2 things that are said here. I don't want to influence. I mean, I clipped it, so it's gonna kind of let you know what I'm thinking is important here. But nonetheless, I want to play this, and I want to see if you catch what I caught.
We have the strongest military anywhere in the world. We have great leadership, and I'll tell you, Pete and General Kane, and all of the people that I've met that have been lifted up in rank. And we got many of them out of here, too. I'll be honest with you. Didn't like doing it, but we got many of you out of here because we weren't satisfied. We know everything about everybody.
We know everything about everybody.
We know everything about everybody. That was the second one. The first one is, you know, with Pete and Raising Kane and lifted up in rank.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are some classified promotions that took place.
So I agree. I think there was a lot of discussions behind the scenes. Now, Donald Trump talks in code. I think everybody understands that there's certain things that he says. Now, I'm going to play a clip for you. And I want you to understand that if what he was telling you is true, then he basically just leaked classified information, which I can tell you that what he's telling you is an analogy. It's not literal. This is how you know he's making comms. And he gives a signifier. When he says 17 like this, it means that he's about, it's for you and me, the anons, to pay attention. Listen what he says here.
But I announced that, you know, based on his mention of nuclear, and it was really a stupid person that works for him mentioned the word nuclear. I moved a submarine or 2, I won't say about the 2, over to the coast of Russia, just to be careful, because we can't let people throw around that word. I call it the N word. There are 2 N words, and you can't use either of them. You can't use either of them. And frankly, if it does get to use, we have more than anybody else. We have better, we have newer, but it's something we don't ever want to even have to think about. But when somebody mentions it, that submarine started immediately thereafter. And it's just lurking, but I'm sure we're not going to have to use it. But it's an amazing, it's undetectable, totally. Ours is, theirs isn't. Theirs are totally detectable. We can detect them easily. We go right to the spot.
Listen what
But
he
we
says.
have genius apparatus that doesn't allow detection. It doesn't allow detection at all by anybody above water or below water. It's incredible. We're way ahead of everybody in that and other things.
I want everybody to understand what if Donald Trump was just saying there was legitimate, then he is kind of putting out some classified information. That we have an apparatus that makes our submarines completely invisible above water and below water, and that we just sent 2 U.S. nuclear submarines, which are classified in their movements, off the coast of Russia. If that was legitimate, then he's going to get in a lot of trouble for that. Now, here's the thing. He didn't send 2 nuclear submarines to the coast of Russia. But when you hear Russia and nuclear submarines, Alpha, what do you begin to think about?
A certain movie.
A certain movie, don't we? We begin to think about the hunt for Red October, don't we?
We do.
Because when we start talking about Russia and submarines, we think about Red October. Now, what is the delta for today? 2301, September 30th, Red October, stay tuned and watch. Now, tomorrow's delta is 4800, right? The hunt is on. Hunters become the hunted, Red October.
Don't forget the countdown.
Oh, well, yeah. And so if you go to the website for the shutdown, it ends at midnight. Now, I want people to look at the top of this post that says 4800. What time was that posted at, Alpha?
Oh, man, I can't see.
October 1st, 2020, midnight.
No.
Yes. The countdown isn't about the gun.
Zoom in. I want the audience to see it. Zoom in on that one. If not, I have it up. I can grab it and bring it up.
Hold on. Let me do this real quick. I got it. It's literally right here.
I want the people to see it. If not, I can help.
This is what I was telling everybody earlier. I said, you have to understand that the countdown is not about midnight. The countdown is for Red October, people. And Donald Trump just did a whole expose on submarines in Russia. But he said some interesting things. Now, Alpha, one of the things that Donald Trump said here about submarines is he says that ours are undetectable. He said, but theirs, we know where they all are. Now, in the movie The Hunt for Red October, they were searching for a rogue Russian nuclear submarine, right? But here's the thing. They didn't know where it was. So that's why it was called The Hunt for Red October, right?
Correct.
Well, here's one of the interesting parts about the Q boards. When we go into the Q boards, post 724.
You got it? I'm going to grab it.
Right here, post 724. Future news will highlight, note the hunt for was dropped, details matter. Now, both of the Red October posts that I showed you do not have the hunt for, right?
Right.
Well, what do you notice about the one tomorrow? The hunt is on. The hunt for has been dropped. Trump said 2 nuclear submarines. Ours are undetectable, but theirs, we know where they are. As in, the hunt for has been dropped, that we know where the threat is at. Tomorrow, the hunt is on. The hunters become the hunted on Red October. And that is a countdown right now on the White House website that starts at midnight. Quite literally. So when we start to look at this post here, right? I want to break this down because this goes in it. So today's Delta Red October, stay tuned and watch. Q plus tomorrow's Delta Red October Q with the image of the hunt is on, hunters become the hunted. This is important in many respects. These deltas don't have the hunt for, instead the hunt is on. Trump's comments, he says it's undetectable. Totally. Ours is, theirs isn't. Theirs is totally detectable. We can detect them easily, as in the hunt for has been dropped, Q724. Now, the future news will highlight the note hunt for was dropped, details matter. Now, what was Q replying to? Details matter. The Red October cyber-espionage malware discovered on October 2012 to January 2013. It operated worldwide for up to 5 years before its discovery. It sent info ranging from diplomatic secrets to personal information, including from mobile devices. Red October was termed an advanced cyber-espionage campaign intended to target diplomatic, government, and scientific research organizations. Wait, Alpha, didn't we just talk about 100,000 cell phone SIM cards running an operation just outside of New York and the tri-state area that were taking encrypted communications that had cyber warfare activities that could take down cell phone towers and do DDoS attacks?
Yeah, and it proceeded to 2 other really main events that happened a few days later.
That's holy shit. Well, this is the comms. The hunt for Red October wasn't fiction. It was a 5-year cyber-espionage campaign, infiltrated 350 plus government and diplomatic and energy research organizations worldwide. Malware, Red October, stole documents, key encryption keys, and secrets. The clues pointed to Russia, but there was never any confirmation. Now, you got to remember, during that time frame, 2010 to 2014, 2015, John Brennan was the head of the CIA, and he had various DNC actors running cyber attacks that mimicked Russian actors. Remember the DNC server CrowdStrike. We'll have CrowdStrike and Threat Connect create the disinfo on the DNC server or for the Alpha Bank server for Donald Trump to connect him to Russia and all this stuff. The Ukrainian server at Burisma. This was CrowdStrike who did this. They made the voting election intrusion in 2016 look like Russia when it was really these threat actors. Well, this is the same people. Now, I've laid this out already. I've told you guys a lot about this. July 7th, 2025, there's a 0-day exploit. What happened? The Department of War, Department of Homeland Security, Department of Justice, the NNSA, the National Nuclear Security Association, this is who handles our nuclear arsenals, and many other agencies were compromised. Official news reported minimal exposure. Well, I have direct confirmation that many systems were compromised. I told you guys this the last few weeks. I was on a call with our government on this, and there's reasons why I've worked on those systems before, the older ones. Anyways, this hack was a sophisticated artificial intelligence, was persistent even after expulsion, with self-replication that couldn't be identified. This hack is almost exactly similar to the 2014 Red October hack. Tomorrow is Red October. Today, Trump will let generals, admirals, and their senior executive staff. The overall theme was prepare for war. We have a massive potential for a cyber attacks over the next weeks. This attack will be orchestrated by nation-state actors, or at least appear to be, false flag, in order to instigate World War III. That's what the globalists want. I think that this is what Trump was signaling. He's telling us exactly what's going on. You got to remember, the globalists have secret weapon program facilities under Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, under Chernobyl. This is why they took it from the Russians in 2014. We have, over the last few days, U.S. strategic aerial tankers moved into the European theater. They're now in Qatar, along with F-35s who have U.S. naval assets moving into the Mediterranean and into the Gulf. Buddy, we have military movements all around the world, all the generals in one centralized place. We just laid that out.
With their senior staff.
With their senior staff. But when you start to look at the Red October stuff, it's there. That's what Trump was trying to tell us. We have 2 nuclear submarines off the coast of Russia. Okay, that immediately goes to sum of all fears. I start thinking Russian rogue nuclear submarine. But here's the key. It's not Russia where we have the U.S. nuclear submarines. We have 2 of them deployed right now. Now, don't ask me how I know this. We have one off the coast of Taiwan, and we have one in the Caribbean by Venezuela. Now, why do we have MQ-9 Reaper drones with the anti-submarine warfare packages outfitted on them? Because they're tracking a submarine. Why do we have back control of the Panama Canal? Because nobody can cross through South America to the Pacific Ocean without going through the Panama Canal. When you go into the Caribbean, and if you look at the Caribbean, you're kind of trapped in this one environment. I'm going to bring this up for people because I want to show you something here. What I think is actually happening. What Trump was actually saying today. I'm going to bring this up here in just 1 second. I got to go. How the hell? Oh, new. Okay. New man. Okay. There we go. So.
And then I got a question for you on this that I've wondered. Actually, I'll ask you at the front end because other people are going to be wondering this too, I'm sure.
Okay.
If something, let's just say that there's an incident at the Panama Canal. And so now ships on either side got to travel south and go all the way around the bottom of South America. How much time does that extend that voyage? Just so people understand this.
2 weeks. So Southcom, So Southcom AOR. That's Southcom AOR. Do you understand how massive that is? So in the Navy, we patrolled primarily Pacific Ocean. So Peru, Ecuador, we're in this region. The majority, 90% of all drug trafficking happens right here in this region right here. What happens is Venezuela, Colombia, they migrate their narcotics into Ecuador and Peru. They hire commercial fishing vessels or private fishing vessels. They have those are known as logistics support vessels, and they ship them out into this region over here, this island chain. And in this island chain, what they'll do is they'll set up waypoints. And these waypoints will basically be set up as drop zones. So you'll have a fishing boat come out here, and you'll have a go-fast vessel, which will refuel from the fishing vessel, but take the narcotics and then go to this one where there's another fishing vessel that'll then take it over to here, where then a go-fast will come up and take it in the shore. A go-fast is just a speedboat with 5 outboard engines. That's how they would run narcotics. Why? Because it's way easier to run it into Mexico or Guatemala to take it up to the U.S. border than it is to go directly from Venezuela to the Dominican Republic, to Cuba, or into Honduras or Belize to get up there. Because you have, this is a very westernized over here, right? Over here, it's nothing but desolate and ocean. So 90% of all narcotic smuggling goes on in this region right here, not right here. But you want to know something? All of our U.S. Navy is right there. All 8 vessels, Marines, everything are all right there. Why? Why? Because what you have here is the Panama Canal is the only way out. The Panama Canal is right here, okay? That's the Panama Canal, the only way out, which means if I have the Navy, 8 ships stationed in this area right here out of Puerto Rico with anti-submarine warfare drones, MQ-9 Reapers, doing a square pattern over in these areas, if there's a submarine in that water, it's trapped. They know exactly where it's at. If there's a submarine carrying nuclear warheads in there, they know exactly where it's at.
So it's got no way out without exposing.
It's got no way out without exactly. That's why the Hunt 4 was dropped. We know where it's at. Hence why we got nuclear submarines deployed, not off the coast of Russia.
So let me ask you this. Not with the first attack that we saw on the Go Fast, but the recent one that we saw. Mm-hmm. And where the White House put out the black and white and then the thermal colored image. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
In the black and white image, you can clearly see things that look like rods that obviously penetrate that boat. They didn't stop with that boat.
So they could have been Hellfires that came down, but the speed and velocity of the impact would have caused the Hellfires to actually fly right through the boat.
Okay, because I was curious too, is the entire
I want to say that they would have detonated and impacted, but if they hit that little fishing dinghy, that thing would have been blown to smithereens. Okay. Now, was it a potential like rod of God coming from a set? It could have been, because there's no indication of an actual explosion happening on that video. Okay. The other ones look like directed energy weapons because you don't see any indication of that. Because those Reapers have cameras that can capture that.
Because you're the Navy guy. That's why I'm asking you these questions. Because I'm curious, to a couple potential scenarios. Is the boat itself a decoy and you're running it over where you think the sub is because you're trying to fire those things through it to see what happens? Or are you trying to create an explosion because to see how sonar reacts off that? I'm just kind of curious to why.
So that's actually a great point. What if they were actually taking out these go fast as warning shots across the bow to the submarine? Because what we're seeing with what was hitting that go fast, in my opinion, it didn't look like a Hellfire. Whatever it was going directly through that vessel. It was just coming in with such kinetic impact. It was igniting the fuel tanks and blowing up, basically force compression on the surface of that vessel, because the vessel doesn't blow apart, but everything in the middle of it does. And I believe whatever that is went underneath it, which I think that would be signifying to a submarine, dude, we can take you out from satellites. Now, why does China matter in this? This is a post that I posted on September 4th. Watch the water. Venezuela, China, Iran, and cartels, the proxy war begins. For over a decade, U.S. intelligence and congressional testimony have warned Isla Margarita, Venezuela, Hezbollah and Hamas training hub, IRGC, Iranian Revolutionary Guard ties, Venezuelan officers trained directly in Iran. 2011 testimony in Congress flagged this island as a safe haven for terror financing and smuggling of covert ops. Todd Bensman, more recently in 2022 and 2023, testified in front of Congress that Hezbollah-linked actors, Hezbollah Unit 910, crossing over the Texas border, not in the hundreds, but in the thousands. They estimate about 5,000 of them. Hezbollah and Hamas cells are deeply embedded within U.S. zones. They came up, the Biden administration put them in our cities. Training hubs and networks. Isla Margarita or Margarita Island, Hezbollah enclave, financial and operational cover. Falcone and Zulia states, corridors tied to narcotics and irregular warfare. Tri-border, Paraguay, Argentina, Brazil, longtime Hezbollah presence. Caracas to Macas, Tehran flights. Terror air bridge used for movement and operatives. Now the bigger picture. Alpha, I said this multiple times. Who funded all of the illegal immigrants that came from foreign nations, Middle East, Africa, China, so forth, to go into Venezuela, cross over the Bridge of Americas, go into the Darien Gap, and then go up to the Mexico border to the U.S. and come into the United States? Who funded that? It was freaking China.
And there's a lot of receipts to provide that. You had Michael Yan that was down in the Darien Gap that literally saw CCP operatives that were handling these people that were coming into this area of operation, books based on their language on how to traverse the Darien Gap, what to say, literally, and it was all from the CCP.
So Caracas, Venezuela, has taken billions of dollars in loans and military hardware directly from China. The fentanyl drug smuggling operation, where do you think the fentanyl is manufactured? China. Influence Venezuela's ports and infrastructure, strategic foothold in the Caribbean, just miles from U.S. shipping lanes. Open source chatter suggests Chinese nuclear submarines in Venezuela's waters. That's what we were just talking about. Now, the convergence of Iran's proxies plus Chinese naval reach and Venezuelan regime makes the Caribbean the new proxy against Chinese-Iranian terrorism. So obviously, the Biden administration, 23 million plus illegal immigrants have came over. Where are they? They are in our cities. Where do they come from? The majority of the military actors came from Venezuela. That's Margarita Island right there. Now, why is all of this interesting? We just moved these strategic refueling tankers into the Middle East in the Qatar, right? F-35s just landed in Qatar, massive amounts. The last time we saw that level of military buildup was in earlier this year when we bombed the crap out of Iran, right? Now, I'm going to pull up two different things for you. You also have United Kingdom's RAF RC-135s. These are their SIGINT platforms, just flew out headed towards the Middle East. Okay.
Now, so, I want you to consider something as you progress through here.
Sure.
If we look at the last strategic operation that Trump did with Iran, what did we see? We saw a deployment of what's the word I'm looking for? Decoys.
Right.
And then we saw
look here, not there.
And then they took the long trip around to make that journey. Now, understanding what we're seeing now and the potential, risk assessments that exist, whether it's in the Middle East, whether it's in Venezuela, I just want you to consider, are we looking at decoys? And if so, then where would you anticipate the actual hit that we're not supposed to be looking at? Or if this is the legitimate deployment, then continue on. But I am very curious to your assessment on it.
So I'm going to give my assessment, but I'm going to try to refrain my opinion. Okay. I just want to state the details, the facts, what we know, right? So a few different things. You had 10 American heavy transport and tanker aircraft landed in Qatar today, along with a wing of F-35s. Okay. You have the U.S. Gerald Ford, largest U.S. Navy aircraft carrier, is now set to cross the Strait of Gibraltar into the Mediterranean. Its carrier strike group includes the USS Normandy, CG-60, USS Ramage, DDG-61, USS McFall, DDG-74, USS Thomas Hunter, DDG-116, as well as Air Wing 8 with F-18 Super Hornets, E-2 Delta Hawkeye, E-8 18G Growlers, and MH-60 helicopters. Okay, so that just went into the Med.
How far into the Med are we talking about? Because anytime we get a ship going into the Med, I immediately start getting USS Liberty 2.0 vibes, man.
Okay, well, this is interesting that you said that, because today, the Houthis, who have been dead silent since the Iran conflict, announced that they are sanctioning 13 American energy companies, including ExxonMobil and Chevron, and that they will attack U.S. oil tankers in the Middle East. Well, isn't that interesting? Like, wait, didn't I just say the Houthis were directly connected with the Hamas and Hezbollah terror networks in Venezuela? Well, that's kind of interesting. Well, is there any other news that we should be looking at? Well, yeah, how about this? Is that Supreme Leader of Iran, Khamenei, earlier this week, 6 days ago, came out and said, I don't trust the Americans or the Israelis. We are no longer negotiating or talking with them. 6 days ago. So Mardad Khalili, which is a Iranian journalist with close ties to Khamenei, came out today and said this, that the Ayatollah said, "We may see a reckless American-Israeli act against Iran in the coming days. We are ready with our fingers on the trigger."
So they're calling the false flag first.
There you go. Iran's already calling the false flag, like, hey, we see what's going on. Now, also in Iran, over the last 2 weeks, you've had massive amounts of Russian military cargo planes coming in and out of Tehran.
Just a heads up, and we'll cover this at the end of the show because I saw a bunch of people talking about it. Trump is going ham on X with posts right now.
Is he?
Yeah, so we can cover that at the tail end of the show because he's literally posting every couple minutes. So it would be no point trying to play catch up. So we'll just.
Well, isn't it interesting, the date and time?
It is. It is. Might be a long show tonight, folks.
He posted about a great being with King Charles and Queen Camilla and the royal family. That's odd. Well, so.
Well, I don't want to take you off track here. I just wanted to make you aware of it because there's a lot of posts. I mean, a lot of posts.
So what I'm looking at here in the geopolitical scenario is that one of these arenas is going to kick off. And then on top of that, by the way, is you had, remember the drones of Russia that went into Polish airspace, and Poland's like, what are you doing? And they launched F-16s. They shot down some of these drones. Well, they were Iranian drones, and Russia denied having any involvement in it. Well, what did that do? That prompted Article 4 of the NATO Convention. The nations got together. They decided to back up NATO assets on the Russian border. Now, do you remember about 2 years ago when they were proposing a NATO invasion into Russia? And Mark Rutte and all these guys at NATO went out there and they published their whole training scenario of 300,000 troops moving in on Russia's border and aligning all of their assets. Well, guess what they just started doing last week? Exactly that. Aligning NATO's borders directly on Russia. So Russia's been ramping up their military. But Russia said they had nothing to do with it. Now, does Trump have a reason to be mad at Putin? Well, if Trump actually is getting legitimate intelligence, no. If Trump is getting bad intelligence, yes. The reason being is because the day after the red carpet rollout for Donald Trump and Putin, the day after, Russia apparently launched a drone attack in Ukraine, killing thousands of people or killing hundreds of people. Now, here's the thing. Russia came out and denied the attack. That wasn't us. It was a false flag. And then what happened is Ukraine retaliated, Russia retaliated, it's back on again. In other words, someone is interfering with Donald Trump's ability to bring about peace. The same thing the other day. We're talking about Bibi Netanyahu, right? Netanyahu goes in. They have the 21-point solution for Gaza. And I said outright that you gave Israel the ability that if Hamas does not agree to this or does anything, that Israel can finish them for good. Well, let me ask you this. It's been 721 days since October 7th, 2022, okay? If Israel had the ability to finish Hamas for good, don't you think they would have done it already?
But they don't want to.
Whoa, that's the key, because they took out Hezbollah within 2 weeks. Hezbollah, nation state funded directly from Iran, 5 times larger than Hamas, okay? And Israel did it within 2 weeks. Israel is a superior military and intelligence force. If they wanted to take out Hamas, they would take them out. The key is that Israel doesn't want to stop the war. The war allows the progression of the greater Israel. They want those people absolutely eradicated from that whole area. They don't care how they leave. They just want them gone because they want that area themselves. And then they want the West Bank. And what did Trump say? I will not let Putin or Netanyahu annex the West Bank. And so if you...
I want to cover that because this is in the article that I'm dropping, because there's 2 things I think Trump did with that. Is one, he's baiting Netanyahu, and he's creating a scenario that if Netanyahu does do it, Trump has no choice but to have a response, because anything short of, listen, the way Trump delivered that message is that's his red line in the sand. He is not, he will not, I'm not going to let him. Like, he tripled down, if not more, on that. Now, we know Netanyahu would have to create an excuse in order to do that, so he can, try to leverage the court of public
false flag
opinion,
operation. Yeah.
which means you need a false flag operation.
So isn't it interesting that moments before Netanyahu arrived, a Secret Service patrol car blew up in the middle of DC and nobody knows what happened? It just instantaneously combusted. Did you hear about that?
I did not hear about that.
So let me ask you this. We'll get into the Netanyahu stuff here. So Donald Trump meets Netanyahu at the West Wing at the back door, right? Now, one thing that Steve Bannon noticed, I noticed, was there's no flags, no colors. Whenever a head of state comes to the White House, there is always a customary colors presented. You'll see the Marine coming out with their flag, Israel, hand salute. They will offer colors. It is customary. Any facility you go, a head of state comes in. Trump did not do it for Netanyahu when he arrived. Second thing, Trump shook Netanyahu's hand. Immediately after he shook it, he held onto it and pulled it into him. That is a sign of dominance over the person. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. You remember last week when we were talking about Qatar and that Qatar's president had asked for Netanyahu to apologize? And Netanyahu laughed it off. I'm not apologizing. Immediately, within 10 minutes of Netanyahu going into the White House, you want to know what happened? Netanyahu called Qatar and apologized. I want people to see this. A foreign head of state goes into the White House and first thing he does is makes a phone call to a country they just bombed and apologizes. That is submission. That is, I am so sorry, Donald Trump, I fucked up. That's what that is.
That was, right? and how quickly it happened shows you that Trump said, we ain't even moving forward in this conversation until you make this damn call.
Exactly. And so, and also, Trump just came off the meeting with the various different Arab League of Nations and the meeting with Erdogan with Turkey. Now, I've always talked about how Donald Trump is the largest military deal in U.S. history, is $648 billion to Saudi Arabia. On September 11th this year, right after Charlie Kirk's assassination, Trump finalized a defense cooperation agreement with Qatar, the same country that 2 days earlier Israel bombed. Now, why is he doing that? He has Erdogan come in. Erdogan goes out there. Turkey just made a defense pact agreement with Pakistan, a nuclear armed nation, the same nuclear armed nation that said if Israel goes and nukes Iran, we will launch nukes on Israel. Turkey, Egypt, all of these nations came out and said, Israel, if you don't stop in Gaza, we're going to stop you. Now, this is important because Israel is so critical to this whole discussion because we got to understand what we're dealing with here. And this is where we segue into the big stuff, right? But who else was at the White House the other day? Well, you had this general, the head of the army staff army from Pakistan, former ISI head, right? Now, Alpha, do you remember when we were talking about this? Remember during the Iran bombing campaign, that Friday before the Iran bombing, remember Trump saying it was the most secure operation we've ever done, no leaks, but Iran came out and said, well, we were notified 24 hours ahead of time. How did Iran get notified? Donald Trump met with that same person in the White House who relayed information to Iran.
And
that
he was there this week again.
And he was there right before Netanyahu came in.
So it's a safe and educated assumption to mean that there was probably a coordination of information again, because we can probably anticipate something popping off.
There you go. That's exactly the wheel that I'm turning here. Okay. Is that something's going to happen? I think it's a scare event type of idea. That it's meant to bait. And I think that's what we saw today. It was a baiting move. They're baiting the deep state. They're baiting the globalists into their next move. And we talked about this a few weeks ago. Now, I get a lot of questions. I mean, did you hear Netanyahu this last week talking about controlling TikTok and everything?
I did.
So did you know that what he was saying is a direct violation of FARA?
I've heard people made the argument. I didn't dig into it, but I can see how that can be applied. So I'm tracking.
Well, let me pull up my post because this is actually people are gonna ask questions. Why is Donald Trump supporting Israel? And it's a very, very hard question to answer, but it can be answered logically when you begin to look behind the scenes of what's really going on. What leverage Israel has over the rest of the world, why the rest of the world is absolutely petrified of Israel, and all of this stuff. And it's not just compromise. Look, you can deal with compromise in many different ways. I'm going to pull up a post here. Let me see here. And the Charlie Kirk letter, guys, Charlie Kirk did not write that freaking letter.
No, he did not.
Absolutely, Charlie Kirk did not write that letter.
You did the same thing I did, by the way.
What's that?
Read the response. I ran that with other written pieces that he has out there to do comparison analysis.
Oh, yeah.
The same
Absolutely.
thing. And it did not. Through multiple different platforms, it all came out with the same thing. It wasn't him.
It absolutely was not him. It was most likely Bibi Netanyahu who wrote that. So where the heck is it? I'm hardest time finding posts tonight. It just repeats CanCon's posts.
Giving CanCon that free airtime, baby.
So the other day, the Jerusalem Times ran an article of the most influential people supporting the IDF and Israel's mission. Did you see this post? It mentioned 6 U.S. billionaires.
This isn't. I don't think I did see this one.
Among the 6 were Michael Dell and Larry Ellison. Now, I want you to put this in the context. When did Trump finalize the TikTok deal? Remember when Trump came out and said that, hey, we came to agreement with China with the TikTok deal, and that we're going to have an American company, American billionaires come in and take over? By the way,
it was near the beginning of his presidency, if I remember correctly.
Well, no, it was just it was 2 weeks ago. It was on September 11th, September 12th, after Charlie Kirk's assassination. Keep that in mind. It's going to make a lot more sense. So who does Trump announce that the billionaires are going to be? Larry Ellison and Michael Dell. The same 2 people featured in the Jerusalem Times article that says that these are the U.S. billionaires that fund the IDF's war chest. Then what was Netanyahu's comments about social media the other day?
TikTok's the most important one, followed up by X.
He said TikTok is the most important weapon for securing political support. Wait a minute. Did Bibi Netanyahu just pressure Donald Trump into handing TikTok over to 2 of his pro-Zionist Israel stooges, Larry Ellison and Michael Dell, 2 days after Charlie Kirk's assassination? Bibi sounded like TikTok was absolutely the key for the future. Now,
just to put it in context for people that haven't seen the video, he prioritized it over X.
That's right. Now, here's also the other part. The reason is because it's a younger generation. It's Gen Z. Now, let me ask you this. Remember when we were talking about this last week? Motive, intent, and opportunity. So, motive. Charlie Kirk, we know, was moving away from Israel. Even Candace came out today and she said some things that she says she has verifiable evidence of, that Charlie was ready. There's a TPUSA memo that she says exists, and they know it exists. And I'm assuming she has a copy of it. She's just telling TPUSA to release it, stating that Charlie, 2 days before the assassination, said that they were moving away from their pro-Israel support. I shit you not. Now think about that. If Netanyahu knew that, then getting rid of Charlie Kirk, hijacking TPUSA, and now controlling TikTok, that's a massive motive. And what happened? 2 days after, you have the TikTok deal that's happening with Trump, where Netanyahu's benefiting.
Ooh, if this falls into that thing that I was telling you about, opening the door with the Christian Zionists to see the light. It
absolutely is. This is how it happens. Now, Bibi Netanyahu, for people who don't know, I got the one clip up here. He's tied this to American influencers suggesting coordination with influence campaigns targeting U.S. audiences. Now, this was interesting. If you listen to his clip, and I can pull this up here, this smug, arrogant fucking... Look, I love Israel. I think the Israeli people are amazing. The Jewish people are amazing. I don't like Bibi Netanyahu. Listen to this.
Christian influencers. Okay. You said, we talked about the woke right. And you said, I call it the woke Reich. That's a brilliant observation. The woke Reich, because these people, you know, they're not any different from the woke left. I mean, they're insane. They're but they're actually meeting on some of the things. And what we have to do is we have to secure that part of the base of our support in the United States. That is being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money. Money of NGOs, vast. Money of governments, vaster. Okay? We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influencers. I think you should also talk to them if you have a chance, to that community. They're very important. And secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle. You know, the weapons change over time. You can't fight today with swords. That doesn't work very well. Okay? And you can't fight with cavalry. That doesn't work very well. And you have these new things, you know, like drones, things like that. I won't get into that. But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are in social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is TikTok. TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one?
I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. What does he mean by that? If it doesn't, it's going to be consequential.
That's a threat.
Yep.
X. That's very good.
Now, these are Christian Zionist and Christian conservative influencers in this room with Netanyahu. Listen to what they say right after he says X.
X. That's very good.
Cesspool. That's what they think of you people. That's what they think of us. Okay? So this is an interesting... Now, by the way, what Netanyahu is talking about directly here is social influence campaigns. Okay? Directed through the state. Now, do you know what a Hasbara agent is?
I do.
Okay. Hasbara agent is someone officially employed or informally active who promotes Israel's narrative abroad as part of its public diplomacy strategy. There's Hasbara's agencies within Netanyahu's office, also within the IDF and the various intelligence apparatus, right?
They have a portion that they're, keep going, I don't want to interrupt, but they got a portion of the IDF that's completely devoted to this.
Correct. So did you see Charlie Kirk's letter that apparently was sent to Netanyahu?
I did.
So number one is anybody who analyzes that was not Charlie Kirk writing that. But I want to point out one specific part in that. Now, Charlie Kirk said that free speech, whether ugly, evil, demeaning, or hurtful, is still free speech. He was a free speech absolutist, people. Okay? Charlie Kirk would never say the words that were presented in this letter. But there's something interesting here. I'm going to pull this up, Alpha. This is apparently what Charlie Kirk wrote. Now, I don't think Charlie Kirk wrote this. I think that Bibi Netanyahu or someone within Bibi Netanyahu's group wrote this. I think it was most likely Prager. That's my thoughts. But I strongly suggest Israel not always depend on subcontracting their information war efforts to surrogates in America. Wait, what? Subcontracting information warfare efforts to surrogates in America? Mr. Prime Minister, I urge you to revamp your information warfare strategy from top to bottom. Sometimes the impression is given that Israel thinks everyone hates them, so why care about winning over the hearts and minds? So in this letter, whoever wrote this doesn't understand U.S. laws. They don't understand FARA. They don't understand social influence campaigns and that foreign intelligence operations on U.S. soil can be deemed an act of war. Because exactly what that just said is that Mossad, Unit 8200, Shin Bet are active intelligence and social influencing campaigns on American soil as we speak. And this is exactly what you and I were saying.
Or he was using that to leverage the people that he's doing because he completely understands the law of FARA and knows how things could get worded or leaked in order to make all those people in violation of U.S. law.
Potentially. But now when we start to look at this, and well, I don't think Charlie Kirk wrote this. When you start to read it, he's talking about these. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about why Bibi would write it, because let's say you have some of these, what he said, and listen to the words he said, our influencers.
Mm-hmm.
These are our influencers. Well, if some of your influencers are starting to get cold feet, you can remind them, hey, you know, if I word this differently, you're violating FARA. So you're going to stick with the program the way we're doing these things. You're going to get your check and you're going to do what you're told and you're going to shut up.
Well, but to me, all of this has confirmed 100% that Israel is active in social influence campaigns, disinformation and propaganda campaigns in the United States of America through American surrogates, through subcontracting. And they're doing it through not Israel funding, but through the funding of U.S. billionaires, U.S. NGOs, and U.S. media organizations. PragerU is probably one of the top ones that does this. So, with that being said, why the hell are we still allies with Israel? Why is Donald Trump so hell-bent on supporting Israel? It doesn't make sense when you begin to look at it, right?
Well, to us, it doesn't. But I do my best to put my normie, regular citizen lens on to make the observation of what's going on. Because a lot of these things that happen at the surface level is meant to entertain and provide the information for that demographic of people. So when you look at it through that lens, it's a little bit understandable. When you look at it through the lens of us, people that understand the USS Liberty, everything we just talked about for the last 60 minutes, it makes we get it. We absolutely get it. Now, before we go this route, I did have one more video that was still from Trump talking at the DOD.
Sure.
That I want to play. It's only a few seconds, and it correlates with a Q post that I want to ask you on as we move into this new topic that's going to be absolutely fire. So let me hit play on this bad boy, and then tell me what you catch here.
I watched our Patriots just knock things out like a needle, hitting another needle on the stage. There's a needle up there, and you send another needle up, and it hits it every time. During the war, we went 14 for 14. We had 14, this is with Iran, we had 14 missiles coming at us. All 14 were knocked out of the sky, every one of them. We make the best equipment. From
14, the number 14, 5 times in under 20 seconds. You think that he wants us to concentrate on what the number 14 is? Now, it could be 14 times 5, or it could just be he's reiterating the number 14. So when we go to, let me pull that off and let me put this on, and I'll make it bigger so the audience can see.
Well, I think it's relevant. The contextual references there with military in Washington crossing the Delaware.
100%. This is post 14, folks, October 31st, 2017. GIF military intelligence. Do you see anything? Because you've read this thing probably 100+ times.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any particular part of this that you think he can be queuing us off on, given everything that we've talked about so far?
Keep on scrolling down. It's right. It's in the next parts. What is POTUS in control of? Right. What is the one organization left that isn't corrupt? Why does the military play such a vital role? Why is POTUS surrounded by highly respected generals? In that video, boom, right there. Who guards the president? Marines. Where are they at? Marine base Quantico. Why is that relevant? Right? Why is Antifa allowed to operate? Why hasn't MB been classified a terrorist organization? That's interesting because Antifa is being shut down right now, and the Muslim Brotherhood is being proposed to be classified a terrorist organization. What happens if Soros-funded operations get violent, engage in domestic terrorism? This is exactly what we're talking about right now. What happens if mayors, police, community chief police do not enforce the law? It's exactly what we're seeing right now. What authorities does POTUS have specifically over the Marines? Special Reaction Task Force.
2 weeks ago.
So, you know what's interesting about that? Oh my God, Quantico is the command center and launch post for martial law, and it's all the Marine Corps special reaction teams that are actually launched into martial law from Quantico.
Oh shit!
Wow, good dig.
How is POTUS always 5 steps ahead? That ties into an Eagle Ed Martin post from a few days ago. But like I said, you 5 times he says 14 in under 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was trying to tell us something.
Absolutely. So
So we're gonna move into obviously if you guys have if you seen the title tonight, you know Red October begins. Arc of the
by the way, I wanted to touch on this one little part real quick.
Okay? Fire off, brother.
Comey was indicted last week.
Yes, he was.
Now, Alpha, I clearly remember you and I talking on this show. We said September 11th, but then at the week after, I said I think it got delayed a few weeks. Comey got indicted in September. Comey was or is the first arrest. Everybody remember on Defcon when I laid all this out, why Comey's the first arrest, Trump sunshine makes him happy. Comey talked 8647 is what brought him in. He's the one that is spilling the beans on the deep state, throwing them all under the bus. Oh yeah, it's on. We were spot on with that intel, so over the target on that. Now, do you know what happened at the Eastern District of Virginia that got Comey indicted? So the attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia was Eric Siebert. Trump fired him, right? Pulls the nomination off the board, tells Pam Bondi to find a replacement. A day later, Lindsay Halligan comes in as the replacement. 2 days after Lindsay Halligan is nominated for the attorney, that's when she indicts James Comey. Now, this is Lindsay Halligan right here. Lindsay Halligan attended Regis University in Colorado, Broomfield, right down the street from where I used to live. Okay? Now, what's interesting about Lindsay Halligan attending Regis University, and just, by the way, she was introduced to Donald Trump in 2019, but I'm going to show you that that's actually probably not the case. So what's interesting is that Erica Kirk, who's recently in the news, also attended Regis University. Guess what? At the same exact time. So Erica Kirk, and Lindsay Halligan went to the same school and college together and were in the same class. Not only that, is Lindsay Halligan and Erica Kirk both competed in Miss Colorado USA 2010. Lindsay Halligan was runner-up number 3, and Erica Kirk was runner-up number 4. Now, that's incredibly odd. I mean, what are the odds that one's going to marry Charlie Kirk and become in stardom and be in the news at the same time as the other, but are both directly associated to Donald Trump? Because the interesting thing here is the Miss Colorado USA pageants are owned by Miss USA and the Miss Universe Corporation. And in 2010, that was owned by Donald J. Trump. Did you know that it was Donald Trump that actually introduced Erica to Charlie Kirk?
Get out of here.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Now,
hold on. Is this speculation or this is something that it's a known fact?
So she says that what happened is that she was looking for a job and that she applied. She looked for TPUSA, but I saw the video the other day where she was saying that Donald Trump had a lot to do with me and Charlie meeting. And that Donald Trump introduced us, but we never met. And then I ended up going there because I remember Charlie. It was something of that nature. I'll find the video, but it's out there. So either way, remember when Q says follow the wives?
I do.
So I want everybody to understand kind of how the evil in this world works. And I'm not saying Lindsay and Erica are evil. I'm not associating that, but I'm going to bring this all back together for you because I got to tell you a little story. All right. So back in the 1700s, there were groups of very, very wealthy and powerful men that infiltrated various different secret societies and organizations around the world. One of those organizations were the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, right? We all know that those temples got taken over by the Bavarian Illuminati groups, Adam Weishaupt, the Sabbatean Frankists, those groups, as well as various different educational institutions, which were the heart and the center of knowledge-based secret societies. All of these secret societies were taken over. Later on, it became the military order of the Knights of Malta, and many of the cohorts of that were in the Club of Rome and the Trilateral Commission, and they were all in the Knights of Malta. And a lot of these different secret society organizations were infiltrated.
What about the Templars?
Well, we'll get into that, the Templars. So the Templars basically haven't been around for a long time. But I want people to see something here. Is that how this infiltration worked through generations is that these wealthy people would groom their children to rise up into their positions. And what they do is they would strategically place their children in positions of power. So the young women were groomed at a very young age with massive amounts of sexual trauma in order to learn and understand and master mind control. And then they would be placed in marriages with other bloodline families, and they become the handler of that man, right? So this is the follow the wives aspect. The Nazis did this through Operation Paperclip. But the follow the wives is that the women are the handlers of these people for some other controlling faction. The men are groomed and usually put into positions of power, and they come up and rise up into these various different secret societies. Think the Bush family, Skull and Bones, and all the associations, and how many Skull and Bone members were all in politics. All of these kids were groomed into a world that is completely oblivious to you. What I mean by that is that these secret societies contain massive amounts of knowledge and information that we just don't know. And it's about human history. It's about human origin. It's about everything that you can think of. Biblical type of stuff, okay? Now, if that was the methodology that the evil of the planet used, and it's a very good method to do it, because guess what? It worked for hundreds of years to infiltrate all of these organizations. What if the other side did the same thing? Now, I want to propose something to you. I don't talk about UFOs and aliens as much as I should. But one thing I will tell you for certain is that the United States government is in possession of some type of exotic technology that was not made by us in the modern day. Don't know if it was made by humans, aliens, extraterrestrials, or made 10,000 years ago. I don't know. But I know that they're in possession of technology that's exotic that we in the modern era did not create, or that we as humans did not create. Now, when this first started happening, you had Roswell, New Mexico, Alamogordo, 1952. The Department of Defense was not ready for this. So they had to basically shuffle things together, and they created a whole compartmentalization structure to take all of this information in. And I know a lot of people that are in the Secret Space Force or all this stuff are going to disagree with me on this, but I think that the evidence is actually there to prove what I'm about to say. They compartmentalized the technology for a specific reason. Number one is they didn't want the evil in the world to get a hold of it, primarily. So when you start talking about the Majestic 12 stuff and, Forrestal getting killed and all this stuff, this was to keep this stuff secret so the deep state, so the communists at the times couldn't get a hold of this technology. And this is how it played out for a long time. I can give you a prime example of this. When Bill Clinton came in 1992, one of the things that Bill Clinton ran on was that he was going to release all of the information about UFOs. He was going to declassify it. When Bill Clinton came in, he got told no. Remember when Jimmy Carter came in? He was told no, right? They got denied. Now, who was Bill Clinton's chief of staff? John Podesta. We all know that name. This is a massive power player in the Democrat Party, is he not?
Absolutely.
Well, did you know that in 2012, John Podesta joined Tom DeLonge's To the Stars Academy?
I did not.
To the Stars Academy was created by Tom DeLonge from Blink-182 and Hal Puthoff, former CIA operator and scientist who did all the remote viewing Project Stargate stuff. And they went on a mission to get the government to release all of their information about extraterrestrials and all the technology. Now, if John Podesta, one of the heads of government, chief of staff to the president at the time, he was in the Obama administration. He was with Hillary Clinton when she was selling saps to China, right? You would think he would have access to that technology, but he didn't. He was shut out of those projects. He couldn't get in. That's why they had to get into the saps through Jake Sullivan and send them to China to get them out of the black projects because they were not allowed in. Now, this is a really important detail because this means that somebody was protecting that technology, keeping it from the evil in the world. Now, can we trace this back? What we know, a lot of the scientists that worked on the early reverse engineering of these projects were from the Manhattan Project, Edward Teller being one of these people. Now, there's also another scientist that's going to come in here. So you ever heard of Nikola Tesla?
Uh-huh.
So do you know when Nikola Tesla died?
I don't know the year.
1943. Now, that's right at the beginning of World War II. Now, do you know who it was that they called in from MIT, who is a government worker working for advanced research defense projects from MIT to take over Nikola Tesla's patents and technologies?
That would be Trump's uncle.
That would be John Trump. So John Trump comes over and takes Nikola Tesla's technology. Now, do you think that John Trump just went through every document and said, there's nothing here, and that was it? Or did John Trump take it back to MIT, work for an advanced defense project, and start to develop things out of this, right? So in 1947, 4 years later, when you have a UFO crash in Roswell, New Mexico, who do you think they're going to call? John Trump. We know a guy by the name of T. Townsend Brown was actually called. And guess where T. Townsend Brown worked and under who?
MIT.
So let's assume that John Trump was brought into this project. Now, we know, so there's something in government when you're in advanced projects or highly specialized projects, it's called legacy. Do you know what a legacy family is? It primarily deals with the CIA. If your father was in the CIA, you are a shoo-in for the CIA. You're a legacy. You can basically come in and they will give you a job. You don't have to go through the normal configurations, right? Same thing with special access programs.
Unless you're Tucker Carlson.
Unless you're Tucker Carlson. No,
Winking
Tucker is. Tucker is, yeah. But yeah. But I think Tucker is a secret agent. Not for them, for us. But we'll get into that in a second. So imagine this, is that John Trump is one of the people that probably is running these back reverse engineering programs on this advanced technology, which means that he's in the interplay of keeping this stuff protected. So one of his, if he's going to bring someone in, let's say that the government comes out there and says, hey, we need to ensure the protection of this technology for future generations to make sure the evil can't get it. So what do? Well, they create various different orders amongst themselves, secret orders amongst themselves. Right? That's how they kept it away from Podesta and Obama and Clinton and all these people. They had to have had some type of secret society that did this, whether it was government-oriented or not. So they're going to recruit from within family. John Trump didn't have kids. Closest thing that he had a kid was Donald Trump. Donald Trump went to a military boarding school. Kind of interesting there. So Donald Trump, let's just assume that he's recruited at a very young age into this program to, hey, Donald, look, there's a few things going on here, and this is what we got to do. We got to protect this world. We got to protect the world from this technology. Now, it's starting to make a little bit of sense to some people, I know, and some people are like, this is a little out there. But start to put together the pearls, string the pearls together, and it'll begin to see. Now, let's assume that Donald Trump, they knew this because his family was very, very wealthy, that he's going to go out there and he is going to utilize his influence and his money to recruit and to do the same thing with other people, with other kids, right? Now, did you know that his father was actually very supportive of Israel?
I did not.
He was actually friends with Benjamin Netanyahu in the 1980s. Yeah, Fred Trump. Now, that's kind of interesting. Now, that means that the Trump families had very, very close ties to Israel for a very long time. Now, the Trump family is very, very Christian. His father, I believe, is Catholic. Trump is not Catholic, but goes to Catholic Mass and stuff like that. Now, let's assume that Trump goes over the next 40 years and he's recruiting kids out of the business organizations that he uses. Like, let's say, Erica Kirk and Lindsay Halligan and maybe Charlie Kirk and maybe other people. And he's bringing them in and he's ensuring that they get in the strategic positions around the world, ensuring that they have the proper education, that they go to the military, they get out, they get a job at Fox News, ensuring that this, right? So what if they were also members of a secret Christian order? And the reason I say that is because there's one thing that surrounds Donald Trump right now, and it's Catholics. And it's very, very interesting. So the Pope right now, yesterday was the feast of St. Michael. Did you know this?
No, I didn't.
So
Caught me on that one, brother.
Yeah, the feast of St. Michael. So Archangel Michael comes down and he casts Satan from down to earth, right? And so in 1887, Pope Leo XIII brought about what's known as the prayer of St. Michael. And this is on the cue boards, right? So let me pull this up right here. Look at that. I got it right here, Alpha. I mean, just so well prepared, aren't I? So let me pull this up real quick. And I know everybody's fascinated with where I'm going on this. So Pope Leo XIII introduced the prayer of St. Michael. Now, if you go to the Q boards.
Here, bring it on the screen.
Yep. If you go to the Q boards, 109, Q109. St. Michael, the archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and the snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, and humbly pray. And do thou, Prince of the heavenly host, by the power of God, cast down to hell Satan and all his evil spirits who prowl about the world seeking to ruin of souls. Amen. All right. Spiritual warfare. That's post 109. Right. Well, do you remember Donald Trump on September 29th last year posting this? St. Michael, archangel, defend us in battle. Be our defense against the wickedness and snares of the devil. Well, that's interesting, right? Well, yesterday was the feast of St. Michael, and Donald Trump put this out.
I did see that.
Okay. But he says something here. He says in 1886, nearly 140 years ago, Pope Leo XIII, leader of the Roman Catholic Church, fearing for the future of the Western world, introduced the legendary prayer to St. Michael, which is still recited to this day in churches and homes across our nation and throughout the world. Well, that's interesting. So that was Pope Leo XIII. Now, do you know what Leo means? It's the Redeemer. It's the lion, right? The powerful lion, the sun. It's the mane of the sun, right? So he's the great Redeemer, the rising one. So Pope Leo is an interesting name for a pope. Do you know right now we have an American pope? And do you want to know what his name is?
What is it?
Pope Leo XIV. Now, he seems to be a little lefty, but that's okay. Because you remember Vigiano? Remember Archbishop Vigiano? And him talking about the Black Pope and the Black Church and the Jesuits and orders and how they control the Vatican?
I do. That dude's a legend in my book.
Well, here's the thing. The fact that we have an American Pope is a signal to you that we took back the Vatican. Now, how do we know this? Because just a few days ago, something very, very important happened and nobody even really talked about it. Let me pull this up. And this will make a lot more sense here in a second, people. I know. After 700 years, the Knights Templars were allowed back into the Vatican. Now, there's people out there probably saying, I didn't even know the Knights Templars still were around. That's right. Their primary church is in Scotland with the Church of Mary Magdalene. Reverend Bill over there, which we're going to have on the show if you guys want us to. I've already been in communication with him. But the Knights Templar returned to the Vatican after 700 years. Now, if you don't know the story of the Knights Templar, let me tell it to you. So, the Knights Templar, October 13th, 1307, Friday the 13th. Where we get the whole story of Friday the 13th comes from the Knights Templar. So, if you don't know who the Knights Templar are, they were created in 1086. Let me go in here. So, yep. So 1119 were founded in 1119 CE after the first crusade, officially charged with protecting pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land. But their sacred vow came to the protection of Jerusalem and the Holy Land. I think that's really important to remember right there. Now, there's a lot of theories about the Knights Templar and how they obtained massive amounts of treasures. One of the things, they lived at the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, and they burrowed in the tunnels underneath the Tunnel Mount for decades, from what I was told. Now, towards the end, 1307, King Philip IV arrests hundreds of Templars and charges them with heresy, sodomy, and worshipping Baphomet, an alleged idol. There's a papal fallout. Pope Clement V pressured and politically compromised issues the Pastoralis Precipice in 1307. Orders Christian monarchs to arrest all the Templars. Vox Ecclesios officially dissolves the order at the Council of Vienne. Templars are removed from Vatican control. 1314, Jacques de Molay, the last Grand Master, is burned alive. In legend that he cursed the Pope and the King, and they both died that same year. After 700 years, they returned to the Vatican just last week. Now, why is this important? Well, there's a lot of legends. So you remember the Arthurian legends, King Arthur, the Holy Grail, all this stuff?
Absolutely.
That comes from the Knights of the Round Table. That's the Knights Templar. That story lore to protect the Knights Templar. Now, it's said that the Knights Templar had the Spear of Destiny, that they were the protectors of the Holy Grail, and that they had found the Ark of the Covenant. Now, it's said that they brought the Ark of the Covenant back to Europe, but I'm telling you that it never happened. Now, there's people saying that the Ark of the Covenant was actually taken to Ethiopia, but what I'm going to tell you right now is that the Templars actually dispersed after the order was disbanded, and many of them moved into other different orders. The Orders of Christ, the Orders of the Knights of Malta, which was the military orders of the Knights of Malta. And a lot of, remember, I just told you, those same societies were infiltrated in the 17 and 1800s. But what if they kept the flame alive? What if they kept on recruiting and bringing people in to hold the flame? Waiting for one moment to strike back, waiting for one moment when their numbers were so great and they were strategically positioned around the world to take back power and control, to dismantle the old guard. Would they leave us their symbolism? Symbolism will be their downfall, but symbolism is inverted symbolism. When we start talking about evil, it's inverted symbolism. So when we start talking about the symbolism of these people, did you know that Erica Kirk wears a cross around her neck? Doesn't wear it all the time, but there's one time that you can definitely see it. It is a very interesting cross because it's known as the cross of the Knights of Malta. Why is Erica Kirk wearing the cross of the Knights of Malta, which many people would associate with King Charles? What did Donald Trump pull up? Donald Trump's latest post of King Charles. By the way, King Charles is the head of the military order of the Knights of Malta. Now, what I want you to understand here, and I'm not saying King Charles is actually a good person or anything like that. I believe he's a globalist through and through. But what I want you to understand is that certain people are compromised, certain people are leveraged, and certain good people are in positions of power. Alpha, I think you were saying this earlier, is imagine that if good people were put in positions undercover, they had to do bad things, right? This is what we're talking about here, guys, that these people have been placed around the world for decades. Now, let me ask you this, is that what if there was a hidden, and I got this posted here somewhere, what if there's a secret order of Christ? All right? This is my position out there, everybody. I want people to research on this. Protecting the sacred Jerusalem and organizing to save the world from evil. The order, which has been around for a long time, hid in the shadows until now. Over the past few hundred years, they've been infiltrated, dismantled, and inverted. Yet a core few stood the test of time, keeping the original mission at hand. In the mid-20th century, they recruited in secret, bringing young men and women into their order, but continuing to operate in the shadows. These people, ignited with a higher purpose of service of God and man, rose up in the positions of powers. Others were strategically placed throughout the world, waiting their calling. They are wives, followers, politicians, military men and women. They are God's army awaiting the final battle cry. It brings a whole new meaning to it's going to be biblical. Now, Alpha, do you know one of the primary sayings of the Knights Templar?
I do not.
It's Deus Vult, which means God's will. All right?
All right. I got something you're going to like too, but continue.
Yeah, let me bring up a post real quick. You know who that guy is?
Yes, I do. That'd be the Secretary of War, Mr. P.
Yeah, that's right. Do you know what that is on his chest right there?
That cross, because I know it created a lot of controversy when this photo came out, is tied to one of the Catholic religious factions.
That's right. So it represents the 5 wounds of Christ, right? It's known as the Cross of Jerusalem. It's a Knights Templar cross. Now, right there on his wrist says Deus Vult. He is incredibly Catholic. I know the church that he goes to. He's about 20 minutes away from here. But I'm hinting towards people. The Knights Templar just went back into the Vatican. It's a non-Masonic version of the Knights Templar, by the way.
You have 2 Q posts that specifically say it's going to be biblical. I think there's like 5 or 6 posts that use the word biblical, but there's 2 that say it's going to be biblical. As a matter of fact, I think I still have that up.
Well, do you know what the September 29th one was? September 29th. God woke you up for a reason. Biblical JPEG.
Okay, yes, I did see that one. I want to bring this one up now.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can see the one I'm talking about specifically.
Did we lose a lot of the audience because of that? Oh, no. Wow, man, we're gaining audience. Look at that.
We did. We were over 21,000, coming up to 22,000 over there on Rumble. Make sure you guys do us a solid like, share, subscribe, leave some comments, have fun in the chat, meet some new people. You got post 3565, July 30th, 2019, that says Godfather 3. It's going to be biblical. And then the second one is 3624, which is November 23rd, 2019, where it says it's going to be biblical, The Great Awakening. Now, real quick, to go back to this, the post that you asked me to bring up with Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the timestamp, 8:02. So this is 11:02 Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
Check out post 23:02. It's a October 1st date.
When one shirt is not enough, two becomes a solution.
VIP Patriots, they call in threats prior to each rally in effort to diminish reach of the message, all for a LARP. When one shirt is not enough, two becomes the solution.
Now that's interesting because he talked about two submarines earlier. There's something there. I'm going to have to look into that.
There is something here because here's the other thing too. And I didn't plan this. If you guys don't know, I'm wearing the Charlie Kirk shirt, the TPSA Memorial one.
I'm wearing a God shirt.
Perfect. When one shirt's not enough, this shirt took off after Charlie Kirk's assassination.
Yeah.
They call in threats prior to each rally in effort to diminish reach of message. I wonder if, because we talk about them getting intel on the morning of Charlie Kirk's assassination, they just didn't know who was on the receiving end of that. That's why we talk about Barron being brought back to the White House.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
So there's a connection here that I wanted to go into the biblical aspect of this.
Here, let me go back to that one real quick so people can see it.
Now, during the October 7th attacks, I was actually given some really good intel from a connection that's been very, very accurate over the years. And one of the things that they were saying is that the group that went into Israel, even though Israel opened the door and let them in, they were looking for something. They were looking for something very specific that they believed Israel had. Now, I've gotten other kind of confirmations about this over the years that many people believe that the Ark of the Covenant is actually in Ethiopia. It's not. It's in Jerusalem, and it's always been in Jerusalem. It's under the Temple Mount, and it's in a very sacred place, which I don't even think Israel has access to. Now, do you know where that is? That's James O'Keefe. What's up, James? Do you know where that is?
That'd be Mar-a-Lago.
That's Mar-a-Lago. Why does Donald Trump have a exact replica of the Ark of the Covenant at Mar-a-Lago?
You know where I'm going to go with this, Josh.
Well, hold off on that. So I want people to understand that when it says those that bless Israel shall be blessed, do you understand what that means? It means that those that blessed the understanding of, so Israel is the covenant, the original covenant. Jesus Christ redeemed the rest of us into the covenant, right? And then Muslims believe that no, Muhammad is the one that brought us all into the covenant. Okay, so it's kind of this little fucked up thing. Jews don't believe that Jesus or Muhammad had anything to do with it, that they are the only covenant with God. Well, if you're a secret Christian society, like the Templars, your vow is to protect Israel, the Holy Land. Because I had a conversation with a good friend of mine the other day, and although I disagreed a lot of them on the political aspects, this was on a live show, David Whitehead. He said something that made absolute 100% sense, and I wanted to tell this to everybody. If Israel did not have the United States of America right now, they would be invaded from all areas, from all angles, and Jerusalem and Israel would be absolutely lost to the Muslims. Understand that. If the United States pulled out of Israel right now, Israel's gone. It's controlled by the Muslims. Now, that's our sacred Holy Land, Alpha. Can we allow that to fall into the hands of Islam? Absolutely not. I'm completely against that. I will support Israel through and through every damn day simply for that main fact, right?
Correct.
So when you start to ask yourself, why is Donald Trump supporting Israel when Bibi Netanyahu is taking advantage of Donald Trump's trust and loyalty, or every president's trust and loyalty?
I think I know where you're going with this.
Why is it so important for them to keep U.S. support in Israel, to keep the $3.8 billion coming in each year? Because it's the protection of the Holy Land. It's the protection of the holy relics in the Holy Land, what is meant in the Holy Land. By the way, for anybody out there who doesn't know what the Ark of the Covenant is, the Ark of the Covenant is, from what I've gathered, an ancient weapon, an ancient directed energy weapon. I shit you not. This is what I've been told it was. I've been told it exists, that it's under the Temple Mount, it's in Jerusalem, and that it's a highly powerful directed energy weapon. And all the nations on the world know that Israel has this, and they're petrified that they'll use it. Here's the thing, is that there's certain societies out there that have to protect it. They have to protect that Holy Land at all costs, whether it's just because that was Jesus's home or because it's through sacred oath and order. But why does Donald Trump support Israel? Because it's the Holy Land. You can't allow Islam, radical Islam, to take over that place. Imagine if Israel was now Kabul or Fallujah. Decimation of all of our culture and our tradition.
I'll tell you exactly what would happen. It would not stop there. The momentum of that kind of conquest would directly, the next move would be the Vatican.
Yep.
This would be the complete annihilation of Christianity. The start of the annihilation of Christianity.
100%. So I want people to understand the importance of the land of Israel and what's actually there. Okay? And that I believe that this order of Christ that we see, that are kind of operating in the shadows, that have these weird connections to Donald Trump throughout the decades, that show no affiliation, that seem like they were recruited by Donald Trump throughout the years, and that there's maybe other people that are associated with this and brought in through other people, or maybe the people that we thought were evil but were actually playing an actor on a stage because they were undercover, or that's what their position was because they have a higher sacred order, an oath. That this is the world that we are in right now, and it's playing out in front of all of us.
Now, I want to present you some questions, and I want to go through some theories and speculation here. And one, the surface level understanding of what the Ark of the Covenant, for those that have never heard of it before, is that it's supposed to house the Ten Commandments, the scrolls that were given to Moses. This is the biblical historical explanation of it. But as you have heard, the modern day information that is explaining this is saying that this is probably one of the most powerful weapons that exist on our planet, if not the most powerful weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that brings me to some questions of, we're Defcon 0, right? We dabble with the tinfoil hat stuff. We've heard of things like the yellow cube. We've heard of things like the looking glass. We've heard of things like Nikola Tesla's, was he able to figure out time travel or something that had to do with the manipulation of time? We hear these different things. And it reminds me of a movie, a Marvel movie, The Avengers, and of a certain bad character named Thanos. And in this movie, Thanos, he is, after getting his hand on the Infinity Gauntlet, it's this powerful golden glove. And in this golden glove houses particular stones known as the Infinity Stones. And you're talking mind control, you're talking, the ability to manipulate time. And ultimately, when you have the power of all these stones, the ability to depopulate the world at the snap of his fingers, what he ends up doing. And when I'm hearing about the Ark being, a powerful weapon, in this case, the understanding it's a directed energy weapon, but understanding, I wonder if there's more to it. So I want you to.
I think there's way more to it. I'm just going off, and I agree with you, is that it's probably something much more crazier, looking glass type of stuff or something. I don't know. But who knows? What if they got it out of the Israel and what
Well,
they
okay,
drew
so
in Israel?
let's go. So you know where I'm going with this then. So let's get here. Where is the, I don't know if it's known or suspected, the location of where the ark would be located in what part of Israel?
Jerusalem, Temple Mount.
Now, because future proofs past is where I'm going with this.
Well, hold on. Yeah, no, I know where you're going with this. Because didn't something happen during Trump's first administration?
That's where I'm going with this.
Wasn't something moved from?
So what used to be the capital of Israel?
Well, Tel Aviv.
That was Tel Aviv. And then Trump recognized Jerusalem as the capital. So
and moved the embassy.
And then moved the U.S. embassy. Because
now, did you know that underneath Jerusalem is massive tunnel system that goes directly under the Temple Mount, all throughout underneath? This is actually where the Templars were actually digging and going through to try to find all of these ancient artifacts.
100%. That I know very, very well. So if you have if the world's most powerful weapon, we'll call it the Ark of the Covenant, because that's what we're talking about here, is located in Jerusalem. But you need to figure out the way to get your most elite special forces in Jerusalem. But there's no way it would make no sense to have your special forces over there if your embassy's in Tel Aviv. But you can't move your embassy to Jerusalem, because why would you not have your embassy inside the capital? So Trump would say, hey, I'm going to recognize Jerusalem as the capital. Oh, well, since now that's
in this holy protective order of Jerusalem and the Ark of the Covenant go in there, and they use the tunnel system to go swap out the Ark of the Covenant with a fake one for the day of final judgment. And in the day that save Israel for last, they go in there to initiate the weapon, and it blows up a whole bunch of confetti.
The little pops out of it, says bang.
Bang.
I've really been enjoying this class, and I'm looking forward to this portion of the conversation of that. We're gonna get to the last commercial. We'll allow Josh to take his breath, drink some water, and when we come back, we'll finish up this conversation. You guys are gonna love this. This is a product of our own here at Badlands. So if you 22,000 people watching on Rumble, couple thousand, over 3,000 watching over there on the X channels. Do us a solid, folks. Go visit badlandsmedia.tv. Get to know all the different content creators. There's content that's throughout the entire week that you will enjoy. And so, again, go visit it. But here is one of our own products, and I think you guys will like it. They say confidence starts with a smooth skin. And baby, Soft Disclosure Lotion delivers.
I swear by this stuff. Like, I kid you guys not. This is the first lotion I've ever had in my entire life that, like, I don't get ashy after I put it on any part of my body. Like, my hands are always dry, and my hands have not gotten ashy without, like, rinsing them through water and washing them with soap since I started putting Soft Disclosure on. Like, it is Black Man approved. I kid you not.
Black Man approved. You heard him. And let's be real. If it can handle his hands, it can handle anything.
Feet are like, they get so dry, like the heels of them, it'll just kind of like flake off. Like, but with Soft Disclosure, once you put it on, like it starts to absorb it.
Yeah, he went there. Don't worry, we won't show you his feet, but trust us, they're smoother too. Soft Disclosure Lotion is made with aloe, goat's milk, honey, and our exclusive oil blend that actually restores your skin barrier. Visit softdisclosure.com, use code BADLANDS, and get 15% off.
I swear by this stuff. I use it for other activities, but it's great.
You better be very clear on those other activities, because people are going to run away with that one. Here's what I'll tell you guys. This just to give some love over to Soft Disclosure and the family that's put this together. Yeah, I can't whisper into this sure mic. I got to figure this out. Every time I try, let me see. I'll try it. And you guys won't hear. Watch. Soft Disclosure.
Yeah, it works.
Oh, it did work. Okay, so I made some adjustments. Maybe that finally did it. But listen, you guys, no aluminum, You heard the commercial. This stuff is healthy. Now, the issue with healthy stuff, let's be honest, most of the time the shit don't work, especially when it comes to deodorants, and nobody wants to smell funky. I'm telling you guys, I go to the gym and I'm gonna get my swell on, and I'm expecting the funk, and it doesn't. I'm like, I still smell good. So softdisclosure.com, go over there. You guys will absolutely be happy you did, to bring us back into this conversation. And we'll get ready to start, coming in for a landing. Well, actually, we'll run through these posts that Trump did tonight to see anything. And I think if you want to confirm, Josh, is it official? Are we in a government shutdown? Because we should have crossed the midnight mark.
Yeah, we're in the government shutdown. Initiation has started. Let me go to the White House website, and I'm still at 11:21, so it's up. Nope. Oh, you ready? I'm gonna bring it up. Bum, ba-da-bum, ba-da-ba-ba-ba-bum, Mighty Mouse.
All zeros.
And it switched. Democrats have shut down the government.
There we go, folks. Now, let me ask you this real quick before we get back into the Ark of the Covenant. We know the generals and the senior staff are still here stateside.
Oh, well, guess what? They might not be able to fly back out now to all their posts because the government's shut down.
That was what I was about to ask you. How does this interfere?
That's an interesting thought.
I'm curious. Are they going to just are they going to use military transports to get these people over there? I'm very curious because, you're talking all over the damn world. I'm very curious.
So it's interesting because earlier today, Donald Trump, when he got up on stage, he goes, we brought all these generals here. We brought all of you guys here. And it was very, very expensive. Well, actually, it wasn't that expensive, but it was a little costly. It's interesting that he said that because the government shut down today and now they can't literally spend the money. I don't know if you remember going into government shutdowns when you're active duty, but everything ceases. Things you cannot hey, nope, you can't. Doors are closed and locked. Literally, people don't give a fuck. They just lock the doors and say, government shutdown, not going to work today. It's that retarded. And did you know 100,000 U.S. government employees resigned today?
Now, I'm glad you brought that up because did real 100,000 government employees resign today, or did maybe 2,000 did and 98,000 were made up employees and somebody didn't want to get caught in an audit? Because we saw. So let me go back to this, Josh. Do you remember when Elon and Doge told the FBI, we want you to respond to these emails?
Yeah, employees on paper only.
Exactly. And people were like, well, why is it? He didn't give two shits about the emails. He wanted to see which were real people that were going to be able to respond.
Go to Michigan right now, the lawsuit that's going on in Michigan, right? What did the Michigan Democrats do? They created a whole bunch of agencies in Michigan, and they put 38,000 people on the payroll in these agencies that didn't exist. The people were fictitious, which means that someone was collecting the benefits and the paychecks. Well, guess what? The Democrats in Congress did the same thing. And it's called employees on paper only.
There you go, folks. If you didn't catch last week's episode, you guys put us over 200,000 views again. So thank you for that. You've put this show on the leaderboard every week since its inception. So thank you to the Badlands family that's watching, and thank you to the extended family that's new to the show for all your guys' support. Do you want me to bring up the posts, or do you have them up?
If you want to bring them up, go ahead and bring them up.
All right, let me grab this real quick. And here we go. And we'll start from the top, work our way down. So we covered this one already. Let me shrink this a little bit. All right, so we covered this one. Let me go back. Okay, yeah. So that's the last one. He has one. Yes, I'm watching. Congratulations.
Wait. He did that last week when we were on the show. Didn't he do that last Tuesday when we were on the show?
He did something. I'm trying to remember what it was. Was it about watching?
Was it Sunday on whatchamacallit? He did that same post on True Social with the Ryder Cup. When was it?
If-
I'm
if
gonna find it on True Social. So all of these were posted on True Social.
If Boss is watching Defcon,
Oh, that'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
that would be pretty solid. Listen, Boss, if we're not necessarily hitting the bullseye, feel free to tap us on the shoulder. Or send a few extra sources our way. Would definitely appreciate it. If we haven't proven anything, we've proven that we don't have big mouths and we don't burn sources. So we'll continue on. Donald Trump posts an hour ago. YouTube gives pay to the order of Donald J. Trump $24,500,000.
2 days ago. So it was when we were on Sunday. So Sunday night when we were live, he posted, "Yes, I'm watching. Congratulations." The same time we were live with CanCon.
Very interesting. Memo settlement for wrongful suspension. All right. What do we got here? He's laughing and pointing. Is that Jeffries that he's pointing at and laughing? I can't tell. Can you tell? Is that Hakeem Jeffries he's pointing at?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. An hour ago. Oh, he posted this one again. The wedding one. He posted this last time. Dude, he posted this last time we were live. Because we talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
We brought it up. We're like, oh dang, congratulations. What a great couple. Congratulations. President Donald Trump, Dan Scavino. Congratulations to both of you guys. Prayers. And then that is the last one. This is not from tonight, but it's still funny enough to show again. Oh, president is a freaking savage, bro. All right, so we're caught up on those posts. So then this is what I do want to cover. Let me go through and find the date. I do want to cover some posts between now and the next DEFCON of next week. So we hammered this one away. The hunt is on. Let me put this back to 100. So we don't need to go back over that one. This one's also October 1st. This is post 2313. Thanks. Yeah, I shrink it because of the image. Then I got to make it big again so we can see it on the screen. This post 2313, October 1st, 2018. Darkest days. Amen, brother. The evil must be destroyed. Any thoughts on this one, or just carry on to the next?
Well, no. I mean, there you go. Government shutdown. We come into October 1st and government shutdown. 2313, darkest days. Amen, brother. The evil must be destroyed. And we just talked about all of this. That the countdown was for Red October.
Now, Comey's arraignment is October 9th. I wonder if this would be that 10-day window.
And he still has not turned himself in yet, by the way.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't have to necessarily because they gave him a summons for his arraignment. So he didn't technically have to, but he does on the 9th. Like on the 9th, he has to show up for his arraignment. So, it's weird. And I don't know if they call them subpoenas to come in. What's the verbiage on it? It's been quite some time. But I do know what he was given was a summons. And in the summons, like I said, it was for his arraignment date, not for Friday.
Gotcha.
So there's that. And we'll go through the Rumble rants after this too, folks. This is another October 1st one that I wanted to bring to your attention. This is 2305, and it says Snowden now a liability to clowns. James Dolan dead, suicide. Aaron Swartz dead, suicide. Kevin Paulson turned over a secure drop to Freedom of the Press. And then we go on there, mentions Assange, Glenn Greenwald, Snowden, The Guardian. And I think the key is the media changing the narrative using secure drop, which is dictated heavily by Snowden. The big question, who controls Snowden? And then when we get into the actual post down here, John Barlow dig. Who would want to kill John Barlow? What benefit would John Barlow's death provide? When was John Barlow murdered? Did John Barlow survive a murder attempt only to succumb to its lingering effects eventually? Washington Post. Meet the man whose utopian vision for the internet conquered and warped Silicon Valley by Jacob Silverman. I'm not going to read all that, but I am going to go down to here. We made it public. Operation closed and cleaned. Coincidence post drop. Coincidence no name exact 30. Coincidence Senator Graham activated. In the end, you will be shocked to learn what you've essentially witnessed. Think NYC bomber fireworks hour prior. Where we go one, we go all. So there's that one.
These are October 1st.
These are all October 1st. This is the last one.
You're about to get into a few good ones.
Here's the other one because I'm not covering all of them. So if this is the last one that I picked up, so you can cover the ones that I miss. This is 2303, October 1st. Quick history lesson. It has a Chris Evans tweet post. Now, I want to click on it because I'm going to show you what I saw when I did. But it says, why is the D Party fighting to change history? Facts matter. False narrative. Old D Party is now the new R Party. Line no longer swallowed, sheep no more. Now, when you click on Chris Evans's link, and this is normally where it'll take you to a suspended account or something like that, right? Well, it doesn't, but it doesn't take you to his account either. It just brings you to these posts.
That could have just been a translation error.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I'll pull this up there. Did I show this earlier?
So if you have some other October 1st ones, I will pull this off, let you bring that up.
Well, actually, I was looking for part of the speech by Hegseth earlier. Now, what is one of the things that Hegseth has been saying consistently and said earlier today?
Enlighten me.
Peace through strength, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I even have that written right here in the notes.
Okay. So 2308 is a link to a YouTube video, October 1st, 2018, right? I'm going to click on it. I'm going to close this out, go up here, and I'm going to open up the video for everybody.
Make this an absolute fact. The goal is world peace. That must be our prime responsibility. We are the leader of the free world, whether we want to be or not. And therefore, we are the only ones that can preserve the peace. And to do that, we must have strength.
This is Reagan's Peace Through Strength video.
Yeah, I played that as the teaser for my show yesterday. That's long. It was a freaking.
Now, you know I don't like Pam Bondi too much. I'm not a big fan of Pam Netanyahu Bondi, okay? But Pam Bondi posted this yesterday, right? I'll blow this up for everybody to see. She says, hopped out of the car to take this breathtaking sunset. God bless DC and God bless America.
Looks pretty familiar to something else you showed tonight.
Yeah, so it's interesting because this is obscured redness in the background, almost like the contrast is manipulated, right?
All right.
I don't believe in coincidences. And this, by the way, is the October 1st midnight Delta.
Very interesting,
guys. It has begun.
Well, in that case, here, let's figure out a couple of these on what's probably coming up. This is transitioning to October 2nd. Only 4 posts here. 2318, 53, 47. And then 2317, Save America, Vote Republican. We have the Your Vote Counts, Fight, Fight, Fight. That's been coming up a lot recently. And then we have 2315, October 2nd, Symbolism will be their downfall with regards to Reddit. That's October 2nd. Anything things you want to pump out? If not, we'll move into the 3rd.
No, I think we're good.
All right. So then if we go into October 3rd, this is the only one that I really chose to kind of cover because I found it interesting on the conversation we had earlier today. So this is 2320, Wireless Emergency Alert. Presidential alert. This is a test of a national wireless emergency alert system. No action is needed. The national WIA test has been postponed to the backup date of October 3rd, 2018 at 2:18 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. FEMA.
Isn't that interesting that we had the EBS thing on October 3rd, which is in literally just 2 days.
In 2 days, brother. In 2 days. What a wonderful day. Then if we go over here, 2337, this is October 4th.
Oh, wow. Isn't that interesting?
Israeli intelligence stand down. Media
assets will be removed.
And that ties right into
Wow.
that video that we showed earlier with BB talking about our influencers for those that joined the show late tonight.
Yep.
This directly ties into that conversation, bro.
That's actually pretty huge.
It is. 2333, October 4th. Nothing to see here. D5, Red October.
D5, well, we know what D5 is. D5 is an avalanche classification as well as one of the most famous chess moves. And it's in avalanches, a D5 is one that begins to happen, slowly gaining momentum to get to the point where you can't stop it. It's so unsustainable, you cannot stop it.
Absolutely. And you've taught us that one a few times. So that's why I was like, he's going to fire off on this one. 2335, October 4th. Think Navy ship crashes. Bigger than you know we are active. Are we talking about we're seeing an incident with one of our Navy ships down in the Gulf of America, the Caribbean?
Well, actually, this has contextual reference to 2018 when this was posted. So this is when the USS John McCain and another ship actually were they crashed into other ships and U.S. Navy sailors died. And so my one of the guys I served was actually the CEO of the McCain, or was the CEO of the McCain at that time. And he actually got pushed into early retirement because of it. Got some interesting information. It wasn't the command's fault. The ships were hijacked. Navigational systems went completely array. Gyros went array. I have my theories about it, but I believe it was China. The same thing is if you go back to 2022, the USS Connecticut submarine, it was off the coast of China in the Red Sea, and it supposedly hit an underground mountain and had to immediately come upwards, surface, and then it was towed into Guam. Now, what's interesting is that submarines are literally made to not run into underground mountains. From what I gathered from that, from people I know in that area of operation, was that the submarine was just going, and all of a sudden, power went dead. And as the power died, it just glided into an underground mountain. And then power came back on right after. As in someone hit the switch and shut it off and then turned it back on for them.
I agree. And this is exactly what you're just saying right now. Multiple people familiar with the matter say investigators found that the chips had been inserted at factories run by manufacturing subcontractors in China. Now we move in October 5th, 2351. There was nothing that really caught my eye that we haven't covered already over the last few weeks here. Again, we have the two submarines that were next to each other, post 2349 and 2348. I thought that was kind of interesting as I was listening to you talk tonight about the two submarines. And then you have those two lined up next to each other like that. So I did find that kind of interesting.
Go back up. Let me see that.
So
23, 48, and 43. Okay. So double meaning exists. Scroll down a little bit. Double meaning exists. Scroll down a little bit more. I want to see the future news will highlight. Note the hunt for was dropped. Details matter. That's exactly what we were just talking about earlier. So that is it.
And so it begins.
How do you start a war? Marker. Wow. We just nailed that. Two submarines side by side, cue boards right there. Talking about the hunt for was dropped. I went through that whole decode earlier, and there it is right there. And so it begins. How do you start a war? Markers matter. Playbook fail. Holy shit. I'm glad you went through these.
I'm glad I'm going through these because I love when you get fired up and you make these connections. I absolutely love it. October 6th, this has 21 posts.
What number was that post?
Those were 2349 and 2348.
Thank you.
2349 and 48. The 6 had a bunch of them. 21, so I'm not going to go through all 21 of these. But I think there was towards the very bottom were two that I think that I saw that I liked. No, it wasn't these. No, these look familiar. You do have the Ronald Reagan here. Let us reaffirm America's destiny of goodness and goodwill. Wrap up smear. Unplug the fake news. What's this one here? Keep charging. Midnight Riders, Night Watch. We covered that last week. October 4811, Information War.
Dude, this is absolutely what he was referring to.
It is. It makes perfect sense.
No. So there's an article in there.
All right, let me go back.
Well, I already pulled it up.
Oh, bro. You see what the article's titled?
Yeah, it's U.S. top admiral warns Russian submarine threat, right?
Oh no, we're looking at different ones. So can you see the link that I'm highlighting here?
Defcon warlords, yeah.
Oh, okay. So which one are you looking at?
So when you click on that article, you get the CNN article.
Boom. Okay.
Now, remember what Trump was talking about. He said that they can't see ours, but we can see them. We know where they all are at. This article, if you want to, I got it right here. If you want to drop down, I can pull the actual article up.
Go for it.
So he says right here, we've seen a creation of new classes of all sorts of submarines and ships are more concerned with submarine warfare. Russians have produced a new Dolgoruki class submarine. They produced a Severodvinsk class submarine. They produced a Kilo hybrid class submarines. Fago, the admiral, told the reporters, he said 6 of the Kilo class subs were either operating in the Black Sea or the Eastern Mediterranean. Where is the Carter headed right now? The Mediterranean. They're fixing the Kilabir missile, Russian-made cruise missile that he called very capable, saying it could reach. So this article is talking about their capabilities of their new classes of submarines.
That's exactly what he was talking about then, man.
And he said 1 submarine, maybe 2. Wow. Great dig. Remember, you guys, you heard it here first. For everybody who steals that tomorrow. Not you guys, but they know who they are.
Yeah, the audience here. Have love with it. Post it. Put it out there. And then the last one that I have, this is the day of Comey's arraignment. This is 2389. This is October. Let me go to the calendar real quick. Nope, that's my clock. October 9th. So this will actually fall on next Thursday. So we'll have a DEFCON before this one. But I wanted to get your thoughts on this one. It's a long one, so I'm obviously not going to read the whole thing. But 2381. Statement release 10/9/18 P_31. General statement. We understand that there's extreme fatigue and frustration regarding the wheels of justice. Slow. And then when you come down here, first one it brings up James Comey, director fired. And then military law versus criminal law right here. How to remove and install a blockade. Found that interesting, considering the Panama Canal. But then this right here, use a stealth bomber. So you're talking D-class. How do you navigate around installed corrupt FBI, DOJ? Use a stealth bomber. Who must authorize firing of FBI, DOJ officials? Why did McCabe try to take Sessions out? Now, didn't Trump just mention stealth bombers? I don't know if it was today.
Oh, he's been mentioning stealth bombers all week, but I want to show you something.
Okay.
Why don't you pull up that picture I sent you earlier? Well, actually, I got something. I can pull it up right here with what I got right here.
Fire off, brother.
Okay. Here's Donald Trump earlier today. Now, I can't zoom in there, but right here, he has the American flag lapel pin, and right next to that is the F-35 stealth fighter.
Oh, shit, bro. Logical thinking versus clickbait. That's how he ends that post. Huh. Very, very interesting.
Why is he wearing a stealth pin. Is he stealth right now? The government just shut down. All the generals are stuck in DC. Remember what I was telling you? How easy would it be if they already had everything in place to run these operations? They just needed to get key people out of their positions for command and control authorities.
It is going to be an interesting few days. I am going to bring up the Rumble rants in just a second. Let me check, see if we got any Badlands media boosts, because I don't want to forget our people over there.
So we're sitting at almost 26,000 people watching live right now.
Good shit. Hell,
awesome, guys. Yeah. Appreciate you. You guys are amazing. Thanks. Make sure you guys are giving us those thumbs ups out there and subscribing to where you can subscribe if you are not already.
All right, so no super chats, but we do have a Badlands boost. So I'll go with the Badlands boost, and then I'll finish us up with the Rumble rants. So we have EC was here, Defcon Zerq, $5. Was wondering if you realize that the woman pictured in Q1712 issuing threats as though she speaks for the cabal is the same witch Jimmy Kimmel shacked up with for 7 years after he divorced his wife Gina. That's Sarah Silverman. Post 1712. I'll have to pull that back up because I already put those down. Let me write it down because I am curious to look that up. 1712.
Yeah, stand the fuck down.
Oh, that's the post that he's talking about. Because that was fire one. Wow, very interesting. So I was not aware that
so for everybody out there is like, let's assume, like, let's say that's Sarah Silverman, which it is. Okay. It's the contextual reference that we're pointing out. It's not that it's Sarah Silverman holding the phone. It's the actual contextual reference. That's how a proxy board of communication would operate.
There you go. And Kathy LaBelle is hooking us up for everybody over there on YouTube with a super chat. $10. We all here on YouTube. Best show. Thanks, guys. Thanks for representing for YouTube over there, Kathy. And so now I will bring, actually, I could show that one on the screen too, because that's integrated in the studio. And now I will bring up the Rumble rants. I'll start from the bottom. We'll work our way up to the current one. $10 coming from Eric Michael. 6, love DEFCON. I'm doing this Rumble rant to support the mission. Where we go one, we go all. Thank you for that, brother. $50 coming in from Chore Boss. So who is Batman and who is Robin? Asking for a friend. We rotate, people. We rotate. One week.
I'm Batman.
I'm the Mexican Batman. Soy Batman.
Soy Batman. We're both Batman. He's just a Mexican Batman.
Bro, that's
Soy Batman.
I gotta post that Mexican Batman when people are gonna laugh their ass off. It's hilarious. And $10. I'm picturing it in my head right now. $10 coming in from Sting Tammy. It's time for the big show. Red October. Absolutely, it is. $10 coming in from Opteezy. All of us here right now, for whatever reason, were chosen to be here by God, to have the awareness of the QOP and to never be swayed through all these years, knowing it was real and truth biblical. I like that. I like that a lot. Op. $5 coming in from Susan Del Bello. Got here a bit late. Was this swear allegiance to the Constitution, not the corporation? And beyond here, if it's treason, no question. Squirt gun emoji. So resign or commit, sign here, X. I think you're referencing the DOD meeting today. And Trump did make a joking quasi, he was not joking statement is, if anybody doesn't like it, they can leave, but they'll go to the end of your career. That was pretty funny. $10 coming in from Acer1, post 282, the 10 days of darkness. When? Shut down.
Yep.
We will definitely see.
I think that we could be here.
That we'll definitely see, because there's some things that still have payroll in the mix, and as the days progress, these different things keep falling off. So it'll be very interesting how that unfolds. That $20 coming from Bear 1007. Best analysis, undoubtable. Alpha and Josh, you rock. Where we go one, we go all. Nothing can stop what is coming. That's the damn truth. $2 coming in from Risto73. Alpha, did you see the X post by the Jewish Heritage Foundation that posted a condolences letter by the top rabbi in Israel on 9/16, but the letter was dated 9/2?
We did see that. We covered it. No, we covered that a few weeks ago.
We did. Okay.
Yep.
I'm tired then. I stand corrected. $5 coming in from Patrick J17. I've been listening to this information since late 2017. Hands down, you guys are the best. No question about it. Thank you for that, folks. Dollar for dollar. Yes, though. Russia today on Twitter posted shutdown 12:01 EM, 12:01 Eastern, drop 12:01. Look at it. Trap set, trump card, something incoming or played. You want to pull up 12:01? I'm very curious. I'd like to take a look at that one. Thanks for being here too. Yes, though. $5 coming in from Funky Joan Medina. You are describing the religious women in the Dune movies regarding Follow the Wives. I have not seen the Dune movies, although I've heard very interesting things about them. $2 from Scary K47. Alpha, last week I told you that the CK Memorial was at the Q. There's a photo of the very first place TPUSA was housed in 2012. There was a Q in the window. Let me know if you sent that to me. If you didn't, can you please send that to me? I would definitely like to incorporate that in the post, in the article that I'm doing. If you can send that to me. Go ahead.
What was 12:01 you wanted for?
12:01, it said Russia Today on Twitter posted shutdown, and they posted it at 12:01 Eastern. So if you go to 12:01,
Russia Today Twitter.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Why Russia? What does that have to do with the keyboards?
I'm guessing because the post came in at 12:01. And then when you go to
Russia Today, that's not. I mean, unless it's Gabino or Trump or Flynn, I'm not. Yeah, I would be pulling timestamps.
Again, yes, though. Dollar plus ultra Q plus. Again, Scary K47. Q in drop 4418 said that when we found out who was Q, we'd be shocked. What are your thoughts on Charlie Kirk being part of the board? I'd be shocked. Keep up the fire shows, Alpha, you rock. I do not believe that he is part of Q, but I do believe he is part of something else, and you will have to wait for my Substack to drop tomorrow to see that. It's listen, folks, it was supposed to drop on Sunday, and
he was recruited.
And it just keeps getting longer and longer and longer. It'll actually touch on some of the stuff that we talked about tonight too, as well, with Hezbollah and Venezuela and all that stuff. $70 coming in from Tanner Cat 7. Team Defcon Zerq rocks. Thanks, guys. Where we go one, we go all. Nothing can stop what is coming. $1 from Yesto Alpha. Ron Wyatt found Ark FR in biblical land, and Ethiopian has Ark guarded by single priests, and Donald J. Trump has one in Mar-a-Lago. What if more than one needed Notalian tech? I mean, anything is possible. I don't think that's the case, considering it's a weapon system. I think that, like we said tonight, I think Trump and them have a replica that's about to get switched out. I do not think the Mar-a-Lago itself is a replica, but I think that is to create the conversation so we understand that there's replicas. Dollar for dollar, ZBM. ZBM, I got a bone to pick with you, man. Last night, you gave us some riddles, and then you left, bro, with all of us wondering what the hell the answers were. So you better show up next Monday with those answers, because you made us all go crazy. So is the Temple Mount actually in Israel or somewhere else? Loving the show, guys. Very Y-Files.
It's in Israel.
Compliment.
It's in Jerusalem.
Dollar, yes, though. Again, Israel, 52nd state or no? But it was doing well before the Israel came to be. Was it not before banker meddling?
So someone actually said this earlier, that the Rothschilds own Israel, and that is quasi-true. Through the Balfour Declaration, 1912, 1913, Lord Balfour granted the land of Palestine, which was a British colony, to the Rothschilds. In 1948, obviously the Zionists took over and occupied. But here's the thing about the Rothschild family. The Rothschild family has been systematically decimated. They are no longer even in control of their own fortunes. How do we know this? A woman by the name of Lynn Forrester Day Rothschild, who married the head of the Rothschild family, took over all of the family's finances, fortune, and all the businesses. She is not a blood Rothschild. In other words, the bloodline has ended.
Good. I shed no tears.
And that's Lynn Forrester de Rothschild, which is basically the daughter of Satan, if you want to look at it like that.
It's sweet baby Jesus in your golden fleece diapers on that one, dropping bombs at the end, Josh. Dollar, yes, though. We need history of Palestine before bankers began meddling because Palestine was good and land safe. So get rid of Israel as a state. People can stay. Gaza said to be a technocracy. I can't even say that.
Technocracy.
Thank you. Crazy. Well, it's in that plan schematic that Trump put out there. Whether it unfolds or not, we are yet to see. And I actually think that there's going to be a false flag that rug pulls that anyways. And I think that goes to the conversation we had tonight. Dollar for dollar ZBM. In my opinion, this powerful alien technology is from angels, specifically from fallen angels. They weren't supposed to share it with mankind, but of course they did.
Yeah, I would disagree with that statement.
Especially when you start to study some of the weapons that a lot of these angels allegedly came down with. That's an interesting dive we're going into. Dollar for dollar, yes, though. What if the Jews' Messiah is Jesus, but they can't recognize him until now by their prophecy, and it's divine, anti-divine, not Jew, Christian?
The Jews have said that we are all idol worshipers because we love Jesus Christ and we believe in Jesus Christ. That's the majority of what they think and feel. They don't recognize Jesus as a prophet. They don't so Islam recognizes Jesus, as a prophet. They recognize him from a virgin birth. So you have more in common. Christians have more in common with Islam than you actually do with Judaism. Judaism basically says that you are Gentiles, that you have no claim to anything in the covenant, and that you are idol worshipers.
And $10 coming in from Sasquatch 3721. Being properly informed allows for proper preparations. Thanks for the information. Absolutely. That's one of the most important things with this information war. $50 coming in from Hope Continues. Awesome show. A lot of thought-provoking information. Appreciate you both. Thank you, Hope. $20 coming in from Nevada Night Owl. Mind equals pro.
Love it.
Yeah, I was here next to the guy tonight. My mind's blown, everybody. $5 coming in from Optizzy. What if Trump possesses the Ark, and that's what he really meant about the weapons he's aware of today, not nukes? Then he's got a lot of leverage and also showing he's indeed good for not using it.
Trust me, I could do a 2-hour show on this whole topic. Me and Alpha might be doing a show that'll talk about all of these different topics in the conspiracy orientation. We just don't know if where we're gonna do the show yet. So we'll keep you guys updated on that.
It is going to be phenomenal. So stay tuned. Dollar for dollar, yes, though. BB has threatened Samsung options. So is he LARPing along, friend, or can't be allowed to do it? Well, if he was still in possession of that Ark, that could possibly be what he's actually referring to and what everybody was actually afraid of. $10 from Lestoni69. Monkey Works had a really good podcast today talking about the JAGs and tribunals. I'll try to take a listen to that. I haven't had the time to like I would want. $1 from JK Nerdy. My wife is civil service in the Department of War. She said she's good for 2 weeks. Then, so it's dollar rants for a while, gents. I'll be pulling OT for a while since we're losing 2/3 of our.
I'm sorry, brother.
We're filling with you in there, brother. Just don't even worry about the dollar rants, man. You take care of family. We're going to be here regardless. But thank you for throwing in that dollar for caring. $5 from Laharshaman. Is a power outage 10 days of darkness likely to happen during the government shutdown? See drop number 282. Keep up the great work. I think we're all kind of in the consensus that this 10 days could definitely be what we just embarked on.
A cyber attack of some sort. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dollar again from yes, though. What strategy for China doing that to sub?
What's the what?
What strategy for China doing that to sub?
The The submarine was operating in Chinese waters.
Okay. $1 from Keith O'Higgins. Ron DeSantis is a member of the Knights of Malta. Does he need elevator shoes to peek inside the Ark of the Covenant? No, he's got the second special weapon, which is those white boots, Keith. $10 from Stephasia. You always connect a lot of dots. Thanks, guys. Thanks for that, Steph. $20. Difo. Been telling my wife this was coming. I got a wow out of her tonight. It's awesome when you guys and others reinforce my conversations. Another great show. Anytime we can help you facilitate a win with the wife, we got your back, brother. We got your back. $20 from $20 from a non-1028. This podcast is by far my favorite. You guys definitely put your effort into researching and decoding. Keep up the hard work. You give me hope, and you give us hope because you guys are here, which means people still want to learn the truth and be prepared. $10 from the Meerkat. Great show. Great news. Thanks. $5 from S-Hole. Tagged Alpha in an X post. LOL. I should be concerned. S-Hole. I know I should be concerned with that.
Yeah, you should.
$5 from EH Kyle. It's an F-22 on Trump's lapel. Look at the silhouette of the jets. Sure, we gave you F-16 at F-35, but we have the F-22. I don't see why he would be wearing the F-22 while he's talking about the new fighter jets. That wouldn't make sense to me. Because he was talking about the new fighter jets. I don't see him wearing a pin for old tech while he's talking about the newer tech. $5 coming in from California Carl 2. That's what I'll say. I'm gonna jack that one up. This grandma is learning a lot. Thank you, gentlemen. And this grandma, please feel free to correct me on that one. I think I saved it in the end. $5 from Aunt Samantha. I feel like I'm reading Atlas Shrugged again, and Charlie, Boone, and others, JFK Jr., have all slipped off to the secret place, maybe Valhalla. Just saying. Let's hope. Let's hope. $5 from To Devin House. Don't know if I'm tinfoil hatting hard here, but I feel like I remember POTUS made some allusion or reference during his Pfizer deal announcement today as well. You have to give me more than that one because I didn't see that part.
I know what he's talking about.
Give us the quick version of it. I am curious.
So what he's saying is, remember the post you said where Trump said 17?
Right.
Yeah, he did it when he was talking about the Pfizer stuff today. He did it there too.
Oh, okay.
Verbatim.
$20 coming in from Kyra F. I'm rescuing a German Shepherd puppy Saturday. Wish me luck. By the way, absolutely awesome show. You two are a great pair. So smart, informative. Where we go one, we go all. MAGA. When you deal with this puppy and you start doing your leash training, relax the leash. Never allow the leash to get full on tension. You're going to get opposition pulling from the puppy. You're going to be like, why is he putting his butt down? Always keep the leash relaxed. If he gets stubborn and he sits down and he doesn't want to walk, don't tighten it and pull him. Go sit next to him, take a knee, pet him on the head. He'll get up, and as he moves, you move with him, and he'll realize that the leash is an extension of you and not something for him to be nervous about if you encounter that problem. Dollar for dollar ZBM. LOL. Sorry, I was exhausted and fell asleep last night. It's my kid's fault. The answer to the first quiz is Idaho. It's a made-up state name. I have to go back to remember what the second question was. All right, so it was Idaho. So
Alpha, who are you?
I feel like you
Idaho.
said out of pimp.
Idaho.
So I'm trying to remember what the second question was because he had us banging our heads. $20 coming in from an analyst, Ashley, first time listener and now follower. Love what I hear. Romans 8:28.
Ooh, by the way, you had a special guest come in on your show last night in the Rumble chat.
I did.
You want to tell everybody who that is?
I will. So first, analyst Ashley, thank you for being a first-time listener, and thank you for being a new follower, and thank you for the freaking Rumble rant. That is solid. So thank you. So last night, while I was doing my Just Alpha show, which is a freaking marathon, it was like almost 4 hours, bro. I tell everybody 2 hours, folks, 2 hours. It just never works out that way. But during the show, because I do the pop-out chat and I put it right here next to the studio, so I don't have to keep doing this all the time. And I see a name in there that I just see again right now because he's watching us here. And yes, bro. Talk about
what's up, brother?
I go and I see, and we know. I'm like, if that's the and we know, then I said
I'm here watching.
I said very honored to have you. You're Semper Fi, brother. Absolutely. I love your content. I said, but if it's not that and we know, and it's just another and we know, still excited to have you because obviously you're spending your time here.
He knows it. He knows. I hit him up already. So I said that why don't we have and we know on the show?
That would be freaking awesome, bro.
He's already said that he's absolutely excited to do it. So
that is freaking pump. That pumps me up.
We're gonna schedule him out. Do you guys want to see and we know LT on the show?
I would love that. Listen, I'm gonna pull the card and be like,
everybody now is just realizing that he's in the chat on Rumble.
So now you guys know how I felt yesterday while I was doing a live show. Okay, that's what I went through. So I was just like, but continuing on, $2 from Scary K47. Where do I send TPUSA Q pick? If you're on X, you can tag me on X. If you're not, you can email it to me, the Alpha Warrior Show at protonmail.com. Or you can go into the comments of tonight's show and drop the link in there to where it's at, and I'll go grab it in there when I go over to the comments. $20 coming in from Lopat67. I wonder if on their way out of Quantico, they were inspired to stand by their oath or resign. You two are a breath of fresh air together. Thank you. I'm very so I've also wondered this too, Lopat67, on did anybody actually decide to take the way out? And the more I thought about it, I don't think they would, especially if they're nefarious. They don't want to give up the possibility of them having access to what's going on. So we will see, but I don't think so.
You remember in boot camp, they gave you the final moment. So after you go through processing, you go through everything, they take you into these rooms, they segregate you with other people, they take you into these rooms.
At our boot camp, it was called MOT, the Moment of Truth room.
Moment of Truth. And you have to sit there and they don't let you leave the room. But if you have something to tell them, I think that's what they did with the generals today.
So you never smoked marijuana.
Are you sure?
Now, the best part, because we're both out of the military right now, possibly, allegedly, is your recruiter tells you they're going to pull you into this room.
Mm-hmm.
And when they pull you into this room, you ain't saying shit. Okay? They're going to tell you that this is the moment of truth, and you ain't saying shit unless you want to get kicked out of the military.
And they'll tell you, they'll be like, we know everything, guys. You got to just come and tell us. We already know everything.
Every vet the chat's laughing their ass off because they all remember that moment right now. $10 from Mary J1. I'm seeing Anons theorizing that Charlie is alive. What are your thoughts?
Charlie's absolutely dead, guys. I'm sorry.
As much as that would be a great thought to have, he is dead. Yes. $5 from Q Fan Addict. I'm surrounded by
Air Force bases in San Antonio.
You know what I was about to say, bro.
Bases. Well, it is Air Force, so
surrounded by Air Force bases in San Antonio, and we just had a blackout. Heard planes flying. Keep us posted on that.
Keep us posted on that.
So, and that was by San Antonio. Okay. Dollar for dollar, one Doc Strange. Alpha, here's a tune for you gents and your listeners. Thank you. Appreciate that. And here's the link to that. Dollar for dollar, Doc Strange. Open Spotify. Let's do this. And $5 come from BS Girl 1950. Just because. Well, thank you for just because. And that wraps up the Rumble rant right there. Let me go and vet
the song before.
This song. before, so I'll turn over the mic to you real quick while I go and check this real quick. Oh, let me pull this off the screen. So,
oh God, I've been getting back into music. So I sent you one of the songs. So I write a lot of lyrics. I have notebooks of lyrics sitting over here. I've been playing guitar for like 30 something years. I don't know. But I have a whole bunch of riffs, and I just realized that you can take your lyrics and your riffs and throw them into AI, and it'll generate songs for you. And I was like, what? I got some cool ones. I've been playing them on my show. My audience absolutely loves them.
Well, first to play this, I got to have a Spotify account. But it's the Where We Go One, We Go All.
I got one that's like that.
Okay, there you go. And we did have a Rumble Rant that just came in. Actually, we just got a couple that came in. So let me grab these real quick. Dollar coming in from 2812 VPJ. You and Zach must hit Quinny's next year.
Oh, I'll be there. Absolutely.
What is Quinny's?
Quinny's Pub.
So, is this the place that you guys went to?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. You told me about that. And then the last one, $5 from Dave, Ohio, USA. So while those generals and staff, etc., are at the meeting, wouldn't all their positions be filled by Trump people? They had to send replacements, right? So then patriots holding their positions, right? Absolutely. We
something like that. Yep.
We believe something like that went in place. Yeah. So definitely you're on the right track with that one, Dave. Solid.
If you want to, I can. So this is actually a song I wrote about 3 years ago. And if you guys know the Q post that talks about there was a time when we all stood with our hands on our heart and said the Pledge of Allegiance. I remember a time, if you remember this one Q post, I say it every year on my show. And so I wrote down a whole bunch of lyrics about it a few years ago. And once I realized I could use AI to actually go out there and mix music and create music, I put this song in. And this is it. Do you guys want to listen to it?
Well, let's close the show out with that. So let's do our final message here. Where can people find you? What do you got going on? And then we'll play the video.
Find me on Badlands. But no, redpillproject.substack.com. That's where you can find a lot of my work, guys. Redpillproject.substack.com or on X at Real Joshua Reid. REID is that last name. Or simple enough, redpills.tv.
There you go. You guys can find me at alphawarrior.tv. Get in the trenches. Help support my Monday shows over there on my podcast on Rumble, the Alpha Warrior Show. They're very long. It's just a forewarning. But with that, you guys, we will catch you next week. God bless and Semper Fi. Go ahead and play that.
All right. Here's a song called There Was a Time, people. Enjoy. Much love. Respect. God bless.
There was a time when our children stood tall, hand on their hearts, one voice for all. There was a time when honor had weight, when the flag was a symbol, not a debate. There was a time when our history was known, with pride in the rules that made us our own. There was a time, respect for the brave, for those who bled, for the lives they gave. Now the homeland burns to silent war. Truth is twisted, we can't ignore. Through the smoke, a voice still calls. We the people will not fall. There was a time, but the time isn't here. The great awakening is here. Dark to light, veil under. Patriots rise. We are one. Land of the free. Home of the brave, no more silence, no more slaves. Answer the call, take back the fight. Children of freedom, stand for the light. There was a time when truth was clear, when the media served, not ruled by fear. There was a time when leaders stood fast, guarding the people, defending the past. Now corruption wears a crown, lies are fed to tear us down. But Q said watch and Q said see, the silent war will set us free. From the front lines, soldiers stare, wondering if we're still there. Their blood, their hope, their sacrifice will not be sold for a last prize. There was a time, but the time isn't near. The great awakening is here. Dark to light, the veil undone. Patriots rise, we are one. Land of the free, home of the brave. No more silence, no more slaves. Answer the call, take back the fight. Children of freedom, stand for the light. Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on. Or we will spend our sunset years telling our children what it was once like in the United States where men were free. There was a time, the time is near. The great awakening is here. Dark to light, veil undone. Patriots rise, we are one. Land of the free, home of the brave. No more silence, no more slaves. Answer the call, take back the fight. Children of freedom, stand for the light. There was a time